Chapter 110. Yang Dingtian said. No, I want to go with you. Dugu Aoshuang said. There's no room for discussion. Yang Dingtian said resolutely, if I successfully break through in the blood pool and don't die at the hands of these two beasts, no matter how dangerous the situation is, I will definitely come back to see you again. If I don't come back, it means that I'm dead. Dugu Aoshuang's beautiful eyes reddened. No, you must come back. Yang Dingtian said, okay, I will definitely come back. Then you should obediently go back and wait for me. You are useless by my side. Even if there is danger, I will have to divert my attention to protect you. After saying that, Yang Dingtian pushed Dugu Aoshuang up. Dugu Aoshuang's eyes reddened. She said softly, okay, then I will wait for you in the small building. Big brother Yan, you must be careful. Then she grabbed the rope and climbed up, returning to her small building a few thousand meters away. Yang Dingtian looked down at the dark Rapture River. The extremely dangerous demonic beast, the 8-headed demon flood dragon, resided below. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and suppressed his nervous emotions. He took out the 6th grade beast soul elixir from his spatial ring and shook it gently in the air. Although they were 10,000 meters apart, the 8-headed demon snake could still clearly smell the fragrance. In the beginning, the river of ecstasy was still without ripples, but Yang Dingtian was already running towards the cave. He had to run towards the blood pool before the 8-headed demon snake discovered Yang Dingtian. Once it saw him, he would definitely die without a burial place. Yang Dingtian ran quickly, following the huge stone path towards the blood pool at the center of the mountain. At this time, an incomparably huge monster silently emerged from the river of ecstasy. It had a total of 8 heads and 16 eyes, and each head was different. Some had a snake-like face, while others had a human-like face. The bigger ones had a diameter of 2 to 3 meters, while the smaller ones only had a diameter of a foot. This monster quickly swam along the mountain of 10,000 blood, revealing its incomparably huge and astonishing body. 20 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters, 50 meters, when its body finally emerged from the water, it was more than 100 meters long. It had a snake-like body with 4 legs and a diameter of nearly 10 meters. This was the 8-headed demon flood dragon, a powerful demonic beast that had cultivated for several hundred years and was close to the great grandmaster level. The 8-headed demon serpent quickly swam through the air. It covered a distance of almost 10,000 meters in an instant. Its enormous body entered the cave that led to the pool of blood. Yang Dingtian had just run 2 kilometers when he suddenly felt a tremor in the stone tunnel. Then, a strong airflow suddenly pressed against his back. It was obvious that a huge creature had drilled into the cave. Then, a strong wind with a fishy stench blew past, pushing Yang Dingtian forward. It was very obvious that the giant creature was swimming rapidly and was getting closer and closer to Yang Dingtian and Shuiyu. He couldn't let it see him. Otherwise, Yang Dingtian wouldn't be enough to fill the gaps between the 8-headed demon serpent's teeth. Yang Dingtian's speed became faster and faster. In the end, he was running wildly. The wind behind him became stronger and stronger, and the sound behind him became louder and louder. The entire stone tunnel began to tremble, and the fishy stench became more and more intense. Go, 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 quick, 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 he was almost there. He was almost at the pool of blood. 2 kilometers to go. 1 kilometer, 500 meters, 300 meters, Yang Dingtian could already see the entrance to the pool of blood. The inside of the enormous stone door was filled with bright light. Even from a few hundred meters away, Yang Dingtian could clearly feel a trace of violent energy inside. This was the pool of blood. The cave here had also become incomparably huge. It was over 100 meters tall. The enormous stone door of the pool of blood was completely white. However, upon closer inspection, he realized that this white color wasn't natural at all. Instead, it was inlaid with countless bones and skeletons. The majority of them were human, and a small portion of them were demonic beast skulls. Just the entrance to the pool of blood left behind countless bones. Immediately, Yang Dingtian's hair stood on end. He felt a chill. At this moment, the incomparably powerful 8-headed demon serpent was only a few hundred meters away. Yang Dingtian could already clearly feel its powerful aura. I can't run. I can't let it see me. I have to hide immediately. At this moment, he was only a few hundred meters away from the entrance to the pool of blood. However, Yang Dingtian resisted the temptation of approaching the pool of blood and hid in a small cave in the corner. Then, he grabbed the beast's soul pill and threw it at the entrance of the pool of blood. He threw it exactly 90 meters away. It was still outside the range of the entrance, but it was close enough. As expected, just as Yang Dingtian hid, the incomparably huge 8-headed demon serpent turned a corner and instantly appeared before Yang Dingtian's eyes. So big, so terrifying, so dangerous. Yang Dingtian sighed inwardly. The 8-headed demon serpent moved too quickly. A fishy gust of wind blew past, making it difficult for Yang Dingtian to open his eyes. It was like a huge train was quickly passing through a tunnel. However, Yang Dingtian discovered that this so-called 8-headed demon serpent wasn't a true serpent. It was only a type of sea serpent demonic beast. Although a serpent wasn't a dragon, it was a close relative of a dragon. It also had horns on its head. However, the 8-headed demon serpent before him didn't have any horns on its head. Even so, the 8-headed demon serpent was still an extremely powerful demonic beast. In particular, it had lived under the Rapture River for a long time, allowing it to possess power close to that of a great grandmaster. The 8-headed demon serpent stared greedily at the grade 6 beast soul pill. It immediately wanted to charge forward and swallow the beast soul pill. However, all of a sudden, it stopped moving like a train braking. That was because it discovered that the entrance to the pool of blood was not too far away. Naturally, this place was deeply engraved in its heart. It also knew that its old enemy lived there. Immediately, the 8-headed demon serpent's eyes shone with a blood-red light. Fresh hatred surged into its heart. Its entire body was filled with a bloodthirsty desire. It was as if it would charge through the entrance and fight the fire demon lion to the death in the next moment to take back the pool of blood. Go, go, go quickly. Yang Dingtian said to himself anxiously. However, he didn't expect the 8-headed demon serpent to actually lower its head after its anger subsided. Then, it abruptly looked at Yang Dingtian's hiding spot with icy cold killing intent. It easily knew where Yang Dingtian was hiding. It had actually vented its anger on Yang Dingtian. Clearly, it already knew that this was all part of Yang Dingtian's plan. He had used the grade 6 beast soul pill to lure it into a fight with the fire demon lion. Immediately afterwards, the 8-headed demon serpent stared at Yang Dingtian with its 8 ugly heads. The barbs on its neck suddenly stood up and its 16 eyes shone with a sinister light. Immediately, Yang Dingtian's hairs stood on end. It was truly chilling. This was different from the Millennium Owl. Back then, the Millennium Owl had been trapped and was unable to truly kill Yang Dingtian. However, after the Millennium Owl had escaped, it had completely lost its mind. It was only focused on causing destruction and had completely forgotten about Yang Dingtian who was riding on its back. However, the 8-headed demon serpent before him was clear-headed and callous. It immediately wanted to tear Yang Dingtian to pieces. The 8-headed demon serpent's head in the middle slowly opened its mouth and spat out its terrifying tongue. A fiery red energy was brewing in its mouth and it was about to spit it at Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian tightly grasped the Millennium Owl's strange blade on his back and slowly pulled it out. Roar! Suddenly, a deafening sound rang out from within the cave. Instantly, Yang Dingtian felt as though his eardrums were about to be pierced. His entire head felt as though it was about to explode. The entire cave began to shake. This was the fire demon lion's furious roar. It was a roar filled with provocation and disdain. The fire demon lion was berserk and proud. The eight-headed demon serpent was indeed sinister and cruel. It was unwilling to be tricked by Yang Dingtian, so it stopped in front of the blood pool, indicating that it would not invade the fire demon lion's territory. However, the fire demon lion did not show any gratitude. Instead, it let out a provocative and disdainful roar. Immediately after, a dazzling ball of light suddenly rushed out. This was the fire demon lion. It was like a small mountain, more than 20 meters tall and more than 50 meters long. Its entire body was emitting blood-red flames. It directly arrived at the entrance of the blood pool. It raised its head and roared like a king. Then, it raised its head and puffed out its chest as it looked at the eight-headed demon serpent with contempt and ordered it to get out of its territory immediately. Instantly, the eight-headed demon serpent was furious. I didn't enter the blood pool because I didn't want to be tricked by humans. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? You snatched my blood pool and injured me. Now, you're still acting so domineering here. You've gone too far. Instantly, the eight-headed demon serpent threw Yang Dingtian to the back of its mind. It raised its 8 heads toward the fire demon lion and lifted its body higher and higher. In the end, its head reached the top of the cave and reached a height of more than 100 meters. Hiss hiss. The 8 heads spat out blood-red tongues at the same time and let out a terrifying and sharp hiss. The flames on the fire demon lion's body rose another 2 to 3 meters. It roared furiously at the 8-headed demon serpent, warning it to get out of here immediately. The 8-headed demon serpent opened its mouth and roared as well. If it retreated now, it would be too ashamed to face anyone. However, it really didn't want to fight the fire demon lion for no reason. After all, this was a human scheme. It wouldn't be worth it if both sides suffered because of this. Now, the 8-headed demon serpent wanted to bluff and confront the fire demon lion. Then, it would attract the master stage experts of the Temple of Blood and mediate between the two beasts. This way, even if the 8-headed demon serpent retreated back to the Ecstasy River, it would have a way out and show that it wasn't afraid of the fire demon lion. It was just giving face to the Temple of Blood. When it retreated back to the Ecstasy River, the 8-headed demon serpent decided that it would definitely make the Temple of Blood hand over that detestable human. It would definitely use the most terrifying methods to torture that human to death. Roar. Seeing that the 8-headed demon serpent didn't retreat and even provoked it, the fire demon lion was instantly enraged. How dare a loser like you be so arrogant? After a series of furious roars, the fire demon lion charged out ferociously and bit at the 8-headed demon serpent. The 8-headed demon serpent was shocked. It knew that the fire demon lion was a hot-tempered creature, but it didn't expect it to be so hot-tempered. It couldn't even take a little provocation and went all out. If it had known this would happen, it would have retreated. There was no need to argue with such an idiot. However, it was too late for regrets now. The fire demon lion came straight up to take its life. Roar. After a roar, its huge claws flickered with blue flames and slashed at the 8-headed demon serpent. When the claws slashed through the air, there was a flash of intense blue light and a series of sonic booms. The lightning-like blue light was the energy of profound energy. The sonic booms were because the speed was too fast, exceeding the speed of sound. The speed of the claws was simply too fast. The 8-headed demon serpent's body was too long and too big, so it was completely unable to dodge. It looked like the demon serpent's body was about to be sliced apart. Hiss. With a sharp hiss, a blue light flashed and the 8-headed demon serpent shrunk rapidly. In an instant, it was only a dozen meters long and 1 to 2 meters thick. It quickly dodged the fire demon lion's fatal attack. Boom! The fire demon lion's claws fiercely struck the stone wall. The incomparably hard stone wall was instantly torn apart like tofu, creating a hole that was dozens of meters deep. Then, the 8-headed demon serpent's body suddenly expanded. Its thick tail was like a huge whip as it fiercely swung. Slap! The tail fiercely swung at the fire demon lion's abdomen. With a loud sound, the mountain-like fire demon lion was directly thrown a few hundred meters away. It fiercely smashed into the cave wall. Rumble. Immediately, a deep hole that was a few hundred meters in diameter was smashed into the incomparably hard stone wall. The entire cave shook and a crack that was a few thousand meters deep opened up. Pfff. The fire demon lion spat out countless flames that splashed onto the stone wall. Like countless missiles, it blasted holes in the stone wall. These flames were the fire demon lion's blood. This fire demon lion was originally stronger than the 8-headed demon serpent, but it had a violent temperament. On the other hand, the 8-headed demon serpent was sinister and cunning. Therefore, the fire demon lion was actually at a disadvantage in the first move. After succeeding in one move, the 8-headed demon serpent raised its head and revealed a complacent sneer at the fire demon lion. Then, it quickly retreated. It actually wanted to stop the fight and leave. It wanted to leave when it had the upper hand. This way, it would definitely not lose face. It would also prevent itself from being at a disadvantage when it got tangled up in the fight. However, the fire demon lion was unwilling. It suddenly stood up and roared at the sky. The flames on its body suddenly rose to a height of 3 zhang, turning from a fiery red color to a blood-red color. Then, its body began to swell, and swell, from a dozen meters in height, to 20 meters in height, to 30 meters in height. The 8-headed demon serpent was shocked. This was a fight to the death. Why was this fire demon lion so easily provoked? After suffering a small loss, it immediately entered a berserk state. Any demonic beast could enter a berserk state. Once it entered a berserk state, its combat power would instantly skyrocket. However, after the fight, the demonic beast would enter a long period of weakness. Some would enter a year or two, while others would enter a period of 3 to 4 years. Therefore, as long as it entered a berserk state, it meant that one of the demonic beasts had to fall in the battle. In today's battle, either the lion or the serpent would die. The 8-headed demon serpent was instantly frightened. Its sneak attack had succeeded because it was smarter. In terms of cultivation, it was inferior to the fire demon lion. One had to know that the fire demon violent lion was so hot-tempered that it would definitely not launch a sneak attack, nor would it try to gain the upper hand. It would rather be tipped and run away in shame. At least this way, it would not be in danger of losing its life. Now, the fire demon violent lion was definitely going to kill it. Lion King, I have no intention of offending you. This is all part of that human's scheme. He used a 6th-grade beast soul pill to lure me here. I have no intention of offending your territory. I will leave now. I will leave right now. I will never step into your territory for the rest of my life. This beast soul pill and this human will be my filial piety to you. The 8-headed demon serpent hurriedly begged for mercy. However, the fire demon lion who had entered a berserk state did not care so much. Its body continued to expand. When it expanded to a height of 50 meters and a length of 200 to 300 meters, it really looked like a flaming mountain. Roar. A berserk lion roar sounded. Endless flames suddenly shot out. It was as if they were going to roast everything in the cave. The entire cave was immediately as bright as day. Boom, like a volcanic eruption, the fire demon lion charged toward the 8-headed demon serpent. It's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Your Majesty, I will cut off one of my heads. How about you let me go? There is no need for both of us to suffer. The 8-headed demon serpent begged for mercy with all its might. Boom. The fire demon lion opened its mouth and spat. With surging energy, the raging flames violently bombarded the 8-headed demon serpent. The 8-headed demon serpent was shocked. It quickly shrank and dodged. Rumble. The flames suddenly exploded beside the 8-headed demon serpent. With a loud explosion, the heavens and earth shook. Countless boulders broke and fell. Even though the 8-headed demon serpent managed to dodge the fatal blow, it was still blasted several hundred meters away. Its body was riddled with holes. Countless scales were torn open. Immediately, it was dripping with blood. "Fire demon lion, you idiot!" the 8-headed demon serpent cursed. However, in the face of the berserk fire demon lion, it really did not dare to face it head-on. Immediately, it used up all its energy and quickly fled out of the cave. Even if it was going to lose face, it could not care less. As long as it rushed into the Rapture River, it would be safe. Even if it wanted to fight to the death, it would have to do it in its own territory. Only then would it have a chance of winning. Of course, doing so would benefit Yang Dingtian. However, the 8-headed demon serpent's life was more important. It could not care less. Sure enough, seeing the 8-headed demon serpent flee, the fire demon lion did not hesitate. It immediately rushed out and chased after the 8-headed demon serpent. It completely forgot about its blood pool. In the blink of an eye, the two incomparably powerful demonic beasts disappeared without a trace. Only a messy battlefield was left behind. The stone walls were as hard as iron. On Earth, even dozens of missiles would not be able to cause such great damage. However, the two powerful demonic beasts, in just 2 moves, had almost destroyed a large part of the several thousand meters long cave. However, at that moment, Yang Dingtian could not care less. If he did not enter the blood pool now, when would he? Thus, he came out from his hiding place and rushed toward the entrance of the blood pool. When he was 10 meters away from the entrance, Yang Dingtian picked up the grade 6 beast soul elixir on the ground and put it into his spatial ring. Then, he quickly rushed into the entrance of the blood pool. The cave where the pool of 10,000 blood was located was different from the cave outside. All the rocks inside were blood red in color. None of the stone walls were smooth. Instead, they were ferocious and sharp, causing the entire cave of the pool of 10,000 blood to look sinister and terrifying. The entire cave was extremely large. It was at least tens of thousands of square meters. However, the blood pool was very small. It was only about 20 meters in diameter. It was located between a pile of blood-red stones. Because the water of the pool was also blood-red. Above the pool, there was smoke rising in spirals. Furthermore, it was blood-red smoke. Even if there was no wind, the blood-red smoke was swaying and dancing, twisting into a strange scene. It was as if there were countless departed souls narrating and countless malicious spirits crying. The entire cave was blood-red. It was as if it was the depths of hell. That's right. It was hell. No one had ever been to hell. However, Yang Dingtian felt that this place was too similar to hell. Yang Dingtian traveled tens of thousands of miles, put in a lot of effort, and risked his life just for this blood-red pool in front of him. He also clearly knew how powerful the energy in this small pool was. The blood-red color on the stone walls was all dyed red by this small pool. How was the blood pool formed? No one knew. However, it definitely had a much earlier history than the Temple of Blood. The blood pool came first, followed by the Temple of Blood. According to many people's speculations, it should have been formed during the Great Nirvana period. When the Temple of Blood took control of the blood pool, they wanted to emphasize the ownership of the blood pool. Therefore, they spread a rumor that the experts of the Temple of Blood who were martial honorables and above had to disperse their energy into the blood pool before they died. What was the truth? It was unknown whether the energy of the experts of the Temple of Blood was useful in maintaining the blood pool. However, this strongly hinted to the outside world that the blood pool was maintained by the experts of the Temple of Blood with their lives. Therefore, the blood pool belonged to the Temple of Blood and was sacred and inviolable. When Yang Dingtian approached the 10,000 blood pool, or even when he had just stepped through the door, he could feel a surge of vast and boundless energy. It was extremely vigorous and endless. Yang Dingtian walked step by step towards the blood pool. Less than 1 in 10 people of the Temple of Blood could cultivate in the blood pool. Once they entered the blood pool, an extremely tyrannical and powerful energy would surge into their bodies. Those with insufficient profound meridians would instantly die from their profound meridians collapsing. There were even some people who felt extreme pain when they approached the blood pool. They felt like they could not breathe and their meridians were about to rupture. The blood pool was in the shape of a typical funnel. It was wide at the top and narrow at the bottom. It was so deep that one could not see the bottom. However, up until now, only the 5th level had been cultivated. No one knew how many levels there were. 80% of the elite disciples who could cultivate in the blood pool could only cultivate on the 1st level. About 15% of them could cultivate on the 2nd level and 5% could cultivate on the 3rd level. There were only a handful of Temple of 10,000 Bloods past generations who could cultivate on the 4th level. As for those who could cultivate on the 5th level, there were probably only 1 or 2 in the 1,000 years of the Temple of Blood's history. Without a doubt, the deeper one went into the blood pool, the more tyrannical and dense the energy and the more shocking the effects of cultivation. However, at the same time, the deeper the level, the higher the requirement for the cultivator's talent and profound meridians. If one did not have enough talent, their meridians would probably be torn apart by the blood pool's powerful energy the moment they entered. Yang Dingtian's talent was extremely high. However, Yang Dingtian did not know how deep he could go because he was only a 9-star profound martial artist. The level of profound qi in his body was too low and he might not be able to withstand the blood pool's powerful energy. I have suffered untold hardships to come here. Can I break through? How much can I break through? It all depends on this time. Yang Dingtian thought to himself. He then took off his clothes and hid before jumping into the blood pool. Instantly, an extremely powerful energy surged over like an endless tide and slammed against every inch of Yang Dingtian's skin and meridians. Chapter 111. Yang Dingtian finally understood why profound martial artists with low talent and weak profound veins could not enter the 10,000 blood pool. For example, the 10,000 blood pool was like a reservoir with a very high water level that was blocked by a dam. Those who cultivated in the 10,000 blood pool were like the dry land under the dam, and the profound veins were like the river on the land. When the energy from the 10,000 blood pool entered the human body, it was as if the dam had been opened and countless amounts of water crazily poured in. If the ditch was deep and wide enough, it could still contain the water that poured in. If the ditch was narrow and shallow, not only would the surging water destroy the ditch, it would also completely submerge the land. At this moment, he was only at the 1st level and Yang Dingtian already felt his body boiling. Countless amounts of energy poured in and his body was like a balloon being blown up. At this moment, as long as Yang Dingtian chanted the chant, he would be able to use the endless profound energy for his own use. The 1st level of the 10,000 blood pool was definitely the safest. However, if he wanted to break through at the fastest speed and break through more, he would need to enter the deeper levels of the 10,000 blood pool. However, Yang Dingtian already felt as if raging waves were beating against the shore at the 1st level. The deeper he went, the more dangerous and painful it would be. The elite disciples of the 10,000 blood pool cultivated in the 1st level. Of course, their talent was definitely not as good as Yang Dingtian's. However, when they cultivated in the 10,000 blood pool, their profound energy cultivation was definitely higher than Yang Dingtian's. Therefore, their profound veins were also tougher. Those who could cultivate in the 2nd level were at least profound martial artists. Those who could cultivate in the 3rd level were at least martial ancestor realm. Those who could cultivate in the 4th level were at least martial honorable realm experts. Furthermore, they had to have profound veins of at least the 8th grade and above. Therefore, the 4th level of the 10,000 blood pool was a qualitative leap. Therefore, there were only a few people who could cultivate in the 4th level. If one did not have the ability but forcefully cultivated in the deeper levels, they would only explode and die. According to Yang Dingtian's profound energy cultivation, it was very difficult for him to cultivate in the first level. This was because the first floor required one to be at least a mystic martial master to enter. Yang Dingtian was still 10 levels away from that. I'll just challenge the limit. Yang Dingtian thought to himself. Then, he suddenly dove down. It kept going down, down, and down, 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, the first level of the 10,000 blood pool was 10 meters deep. The deeper he went, the narrower the diameter of the blood pool. Strangely enough, the deeper he went, the lighter the color of the blood pool became. The top layer of the 10,000 blood pool was so red that it was almost black. At the bottom of the first layer, it was already bright red. Boom! Yang Dingtian broke into the second floor. Suddenly, an incomparably powerful energy fiercely attacked him. He only saw a golden light in front of him, and he almost suffocated and fainted. The energy of the second level was several times stronger than that of the first level. Caught off guard, Yang Dingtian was nearly sent flying by the attack. Suddenly, he felt that his entire body was no longer his. It was as if his limbs had been completely torn apart. The second level seemed to be his limit. At the very least, Yang Dingtian was in extreme pain and struggling to hold on. Should I cultivate on the second level and circulate the incantation? Yang Dingtian thought to himself. However, he felt a wave of unwillingness. He had worked so hard to come here. Moreover, this might be the only chance in his life to cultivate in the blood pool. He was really unwilling to only cultivate on the second level. Most importantly, Yang Dingtian wanted to test his limit. Thus, Yang Dingtian dove down again. So painful, so uncomfortable, Yang Dingtian felt his body constantly expanding. The skin on his body seemed to be cracking inch by inch. 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters, the second level was only about 8 meters deep. Yang Dingtian suddenly crossed the second level and entered the third level. Bang! Yang Dingtian felt a loud bang in his head. Then, he smelled the scent of blood. He was bleeding. Blood kept flowing out of his nostrils, ears, and mouth. Blood was oozing out of every pore on his body. However, he could no longer feel the pain. His entire body had lost all feeling. It was as if this body was no longer his. This was the most dangerous part. Because no matter how painful it was, he was still conscious. This way, he could still control his body and roughly know what would happen next. Even if his body was about to explode, he could still feel it. However, once his body lost all feeling, it was too dangerous. It was entirely possible that his body would explode at any moment and he would die without any mental preparation. Therefore, the third level of the 10,000 blood pool should be Yang Dingtian's limit. This was already very, very difficult. After all, Yang Dingtian was only a 9-star Xian martial artist. The third level required at least a martial ancestor realm expert to enter. It was already a miracle that Yang Dingtian could enter the third level. Yang Dingtian took a final look at the pool water. The third level of the 10,000 blood pool was only around 4 to 5 meters in diameter. The blood-red color of the pool water was already very faint. It was as if a small cup of blood was poured into a bucket of clear water. The pool water was already almost transparent. He slowly closed his eyes and prepared to circulate the chant of the pig-slaying sword art. He started to absorb and refine the mystic chi energy here. Even though Yang Dingtian still wanted to enter the fourth level, he wasn't a lunatic. He wouldn't let himself die in this 10,000 blood pool. Furthermore, the third level should be enough for him to break through. Yang Dingtian's goal was to break through to the Xian martial warrior realm. Just as Yang Dingtian closed his eyes, he suddenly saw a person. She was around 4 to 3 meters below him. A completely naked woman was floating in the clear and transparent pool of blood. She was like the most perfect sculpture on earth. She was motionless, and only her long hair was dancing in the pool. Dugu Fengwu. It was actually the demonic woman, Dugu Fengwu. Even though he was in the 10,000 blood pool, Yang Dingtian's body trembled violently. He didn't think that the demonic woman, Dugu Fengwu, would actually be in the 10,000 blood pool. In an instant, Yang Dingtian's entire body felt cold. This demonic woman was vicious and merciless. If she discovered Yang Dingtian, she would probably kill him immediately. Yang Dingtian suddenly had an impulse to rush out of the 10,000 blood pool. However, he quickly realized that Dugu Fengwu had her eyes closed and seemed to be completely immersed in cultivation. It was as though she didn't know anything about the outside world. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but let out a long breath. However, there was still a huge problem because Dugu Fengwu might wake up at any moment. As long as she woke up and saw Yang Dingtian, she would definitely kill him immediately. If Yang Dingtian were to leave the 10,000 blood pool now, he wouldn't be killed by Dugu Fengwu. However, he had put in so much effort to reach the 10,000 blood pool. He was truly unwilling to leave just like that. In that case, there was another way, and that was to continue diving deeper into the blood pool. Right now, Dugu Fengwu was in between the 3rd and 4th level. Yang Dingtian was going to dive into the 4th level directly. Furthermore, the 4th level was completely golden and could block Yang Dingtian's figure. He might not be discovered by Dugu Fengwu. However, the 4th level had already exceeded the limits of what Yang Dingtian could endure. Once he dived in, there was a 90% chance that he would explode and die. If he didn't dive down, Dugu Fengwu would definitely wake up and die. Yang Dingtian wasn't willing to be killed by Dugu Fengwu, but he wasn't willing to give up either. Perhaps the heavens want me to enter the 4th level? Yang Dingtian thought in his heart. Gritting his teeth, Yang Dingtian said in his heart, "Master, I want to enter the 4th level of the 10,000 blood pool. My body has already lost all feeling. Help me observe my body. Once my body is about to explode, inform me immediately. Then it might already be too late." Dongfang Minmi said, "Right now, the energy outside is already crazily squeezing my soul spirit. Child, you were able to enter the 3rd level because of your terrifying 9 yang mystic meridians. However, your cultivation is still too low. If you forcefully enter the 4th level, you might really turn into ashes." Yang Dingtian replied, "As long as you give me a warning, I will return immediately." Afterward, Yang Dingtian continued diving. At this moment, he couldn't feel any pain because his body didn't feel like it was his anymore. However, the muscles on his body were already in a terrible state. There were countless cracks, and fresh blood was gushing out from every part of his body. It was truly critical, and he was going to explode and die in the blink of an eye. The 4th level of the 10,000 blood pool was right in front of him. The 4th level was completely different from the previous level. Its water was completely golden and was even emitting light. It was extremely beautiful and enchanting. Yang Dingtian was sure that this wasn't blood but pure energy liquid. The 10,000 blood pool below the 4th level was the real 10,000 blood pool. It was the real energy pool. The upper 3 layers were only filled with the liquid energy. Rush in. There was a 99% chance that he would turn into ashes and die. It was instantaneous. Even if his master, Dongfang Minmi, wanted to warn him, it would be too late. "Don't enter." At this moment, he was already at the entrance. He was just 1 step away. He was really unwilling. "Go all out." Yang Dingtian roared in his heart and rushed down. Boom, a golden light appeared in front of his eyes. Yang Dingtian instantly lost all his senses. His entire body and soul seemed to have disappeared without a trace in an instant, after an unknown amount of time, or perhaps it was only a moment. All of his consciousness gradually returned to Yang Dingtian's body. Yang Dingtian regained his vision and consciousness. So comfortable. Compared to the first 3 levels of the 10,000 blood pool, this is heaven. His body that was completely numb earlier had returned. Yang Dingtian felt extremely comfortable. It was as though he was bathing under the sun. It was warm and comfortable. Every pore in his body was breathing freely. His originally mangled body was now completely refreshed. The fourth level of the 10,000 blood pool was pure energy liquid. There wasn't any pressure or forceful irrigation. There was no danger of exploding. It wasn't like the first 3 levels. It didn't matter if one accepted it or not. Incomparably powerful energy would surge out. Therefore, those with weak mystic meridians would immediately explode. Even Yang Dingtian was only one step away from exploding. His body was filled with countless wounds, and fresh blood was gushing out. The fourth level didn't have any requirements for the cultivator's mystic chi grade. The only requirement was the cultivator's talent and mystic meridians. Only those who could withstand the violent energy of the first 3 levels would be able to enter the fourth level and enter the real 10,000 blood pool. However, it was slightly awkward that half of Dugu Fengwu's body was in the 3rd level, and the other half was in the 4th level. Therefore, the extremely beautiful Dugu Fengwu was floating above Yang Dingtian's head. Even though Yang Dingtian was trying his best to restrain himself, he couldn't help but take a look. In an instant, he felt his entire heart and body trembling. This woman might be ruthless, but her beauty was on the same level as Dongfang Bingling. However, this was a demon woman who killed without batting an eyelid. It was best to stay as far away as possible. Therefore, Yang Dingtian desperately dove down until he reached the deepest part of the 4th level of the 10,000 blood pool. Below the 4th level was the 5th level, the last level of the 10,000 blood pool. At this moment, Yang Dingtian felt that it wasn't safe to be in the same place as Dugu Fengwu on the 4th level. If Dugu Fengwu woke up earlier than him while he was cultivating, she might still discover Yang Dingtian in the pool. By then, Yang Dingtian would still lose his life. Therefore, in order to be absolutely safe, he had to dive into the 5th level, the 5th level of the 10,000 blood pool. Furthermore, the 5th level contained the strongest energy of the 10,000 blood pool. Yang Dingtian's heart was filled with anticipation. Furthermore, Dugu Fengwu shouldn't be able to enter the 5th level. Therefore, it would be very safe for him to wash his face on the 5th level. The 5th level of the 10,000 blood pool was completely colorless and pure. It was purer and more transparent than any other water in the world. This was the only way to survive from the jaws of death. Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth and rushed into the 5th level of the 10,000 blood pool. It was a layer of pure golden liquid. It wasn't transparent, but it was extremely beautiful and intoxicating. Boom! Before Yang Dingtian could rush in, an extremely powerful force burst out and pushed Yang Dingtian back a few meters. He couldn't enter the 5th level. Yang Dingtian tried many times, but he was mercilessly pushed out every time. Yang Dingtian was at his wit's end. He could only take the risk and cultivate on the 4th level with Dugu Fengwu. He could only pray that Dugu Fengwu wouldn't wake up so soon. Even if she did, she wouldn't discover Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and decided to cultivate at the bottom of the 4th level. As for his life, he would hand it over to the heavens. If the heavens wanted him to die, he would die. If the heavens wanted him to live, he would live. He slowly closed his eyes and sat cross-legged in the water. His mind entered a state of complete clarity, and he forgot everything. He forgot about this exceptional demon woman, Dugu Fengwu. He forgot about the danger of being killed at any moment. He forgot about the devil's den that was the temple of blood. He even forgot that Shiman Yanyan was still waiting for his rescue. He forgot everything and entered a state of cultivation and meditation. His entire mystic meridians and chi vessel circulated the chi refinement chant of the pig-slaying sword art. Boom! In an instant, Yang Dingtian's heart felt as though there was a sun that exploded. The golden radiance engulfed and covered everything. From the inside to the outside, everything was enveloped by the golden radiance. Boundless mystic qi energy surged in from every pore of Yang Dingtian's body and flowed into countless meridians. It circulated rapidly and finally flowed into the qi vessel. For those with high innate talent, the mystic qi that entered the body would eventually flow into the qi vessel. For those with low innate talent, the mystic qi that entered the body would eventually flow into the qi vessel. The stronger the mystic meridians, the faster the mystic qi circulation and the greater the capacity of mystic qi. Every inch of the air between heaven and earth was filled with mystic qi energy. However, it was very thin, and only with this thin mystic qi could one truly absorb it for one's own use. The mystic qi energy in the blood pool was tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of times more concentrated than the outside world. Therefore, cultivating here for 15 minutes was equivalent to cultivating outside for more than half a year. However, its mystic qi energy was too tyrannical. Every time it entered the body, it would cause severe damage to the mystic meridians. Therefore, if there were no accidents and no one killed them, they could usually live up to 140 or 150 years old. As for the experts in the Temple of 10,000 Blood, it was difficult for them to live past 80 years old. This was because they relied too much on the blood pool. Cultivating in the blood pool was too destructive to their meridians. Therefore, unless it was a last resort, Yang Dingtian would never think of coming to the blood pool to break through quickly. The mystic qi circulation speed became faster and faster. Yang Dingtian had completely entered a state of selflessness. His muscles and bones seemed to have disappeared from his entire body. Only his meridians and qi vessel were left. His entire body had completely turned into an energy array that circulated rapidly. Yang Dingtian was a top genius with 9 yang mystic meridians. The energy that flowed into his meridians and finally flowed into his qi vessel. It was 10 times more than ordinary people with high innate talent. Every time his mystic qi level broke through, his qi vessel would break through. Countless mystic qi flowed through his meridians and entered his qi vessel. His qi vessel was expanding and expanding. A breakthrough was a complete outburst. If it was an ordinary breakthrough, it would be a slow process without much danger. However, breaking through in the blood pool was fast and instantaneous. It could possibly cause the qi vessel to explode. Brewing. Expanding. Even though Yang Dingtian did not feel anything, he had already entered a state of selflessness. However, his body had already started to tremble. The muscles on his face started to distort abnormally and the meridians on his body started to swell. It was not the feeling of a virtual bulge, but a real bulge. It was as though there was a mouse swimming rapidly in his meridians. This was the sign of a breakthrough. Of course, it was also an extremely dangerous sign. The mystic meridians were exploding and the qi vessel was exploding. Following that, Yang Dingtian's skin started to crack and more blood flowed out. The pores on Yang Dingtian's lower abdomen, where his qi vessel was, exploded and was dripping with blood. He had already reached the gates of hell and entered an irreversible process. Either he broke through or he was destroyed. Actually, if Yang Dingtian was on the first level or even the third level of the blood pool, it would not be so dangerous. However, he was on the 4th level. Only a martial saint with an 8th grade mystic meridian talent could be on the 4th level. Furthermore, he had broken through from the Xian martial warrior to the Xian martial warrior. This was the true gates of hell. Boom! Yang Dingtian's qi vessel flashed with a white light and everything in his body instantly sank into nothingness. Note, I beg for a few monthly votes. Chapter 113. Right now, the fire demon Violent Lion was squatting by the shore of the blood pool and glaring at Yang Dingtian. It was unknown when it returned, and what was the result of the battle with the 8-headed demon flood dragon. Did it kill the 8-headed demon flood dragon, or was the battle stopped by the Temple of Blood? However, the 8-headed demon flood dragon was nowhere to be seen, and there was no one else in the blood cave. There was only this fire demon Violent Lion that was riddled with injuries. In order to fight with the 8-headed demon flood dragon, the fire demon violent lion had entered a berserk state. After the berserk state, there would be a long period of weakness. Right now, the fire demon violent lion was in a weakened state. However, the weakening of the fire demon violent lion didn't mean anything to Yang Dingtian. The fire demon violent lion that wasn't weakened was a great master expert, while the weakened fire demon violent lion was still close to a great master expert. With just one claw, it could easily destroy Yang Dingtian. This was the territory of the fire demon violent lion, and Yang Dingtian, an outsider, actually dared to barge in. It was definitely a path to death. The fire demon violent lion that was over a dozen meters tall was undoubtedly a massive creature to Yang Dingtian. Furthermore, its body was emitting terrifying flames. The fire demon violent lion used its claw to point at the clothes by the shore and then at Dugu Fengwu, who was in Yang Dingtian's arms. It meant for Jiang Yi to put her down because Dugu Fengwu was an entrant, and it couldn't kill her. Right now, Dugu Fengwu's entire body was submerged in the blood pool, and the fire demon violent lion couldn't see her body. Even if it could see her, it wouldn't be interested as it was only interested in lionesses. Yang Dingtian took the clothes and helped Dugu Fengwu wear them in the water. Afterward, the fire demon violent lion pointed at Dugu Fengwu and then at the ground. Yang Dingtian placed Dugu Fengwu on the ground. After everything was done, the lantern-like eyes of the fire demon violent lion burst out with a fiery light. It slowly opened its mouth, and an extremely powerful flame energy was brewing in its mouth. It was going to blast at Yang Dingtian like a missile. Once he was hit, Yang Dingtian would definitely be turned into ashes, and not even a bone would be left behind. Moreover, there was no need to plead with the fire demon violent lion, because it would definitely not show any mercy. Damn it, he had finally escaped from this woman's demonic claws, and now he had fallen into the fiery claws of the fire demon violent lion. The price he had to pay for this breakthrough was too high. Yang Dingtian was not an idiot. He definitely would not directly block this terrifying attack, because it was completely impossible. The bombardment this time was from a Master Realm expert. It was impossible to resist it head-on. There was only one thing Yang Dingtian could do, and that was to escape. Running away was not shameful, especially when facing a powerful opponent like the fire demon violent lion. Moreover, it was a completely unreasonable and incomparably violent opponent. Bang! Yang Dingtian suddenly turned around and plunged into the depths of the pool of blood once more. He could only hope that the 10,000 blood pool could protect him and allow him to enter the first, second, third, and fourth levels. He hoped that the fire demon violent lion would not be able to enter the pool of blood. Perhaps it really would not be able to enter, because its body was simply too huge. Furthermore, the pool of blood should be enough to cushion and neutralize its terrifying attacks. Yang Dingtian quickly passed through the first level, the second level, and arrived at the third level of the pool of blood. Soon, he would enter the fourth level. Here, the fire demon violent lion's body should not be able to enter. As for how to escape the 10,000 blood cave after hiding in the fourth level of the pool of blood, that was not something Yang Dingtian should be thinking about right now. However, just as Yang Dingtian felt safe, the situation suddenly changed. Before Yang Dingtian could enter the fourth level of the pool of blood, an incomparably powerful force suddenly lifted Yang Dingtian up, and fiercely pulled him out of the pool of blood. It was as if a pair of incomparably huge hands had firmly grabbed him in the air, grabbing him in the air. Roar! The fire demon violent lion let out a low roar. It was actually able to grab Yang Dingtian out of the pool of blood. It was truly astonishingly powerful. It raised its sharp flaming claws, aimed at Yang Dingtian's head, and fiercely clawed down. It was a terrifying demonic beast. It was brutal and manic, and would definitely not show mercy with its claws. Of course, facing an ant-like human, it only used less than 10% of its strength. Whoosh! Yang Dingtian quickly took out the night owl huge sword from his spatial ring and used all his strength to fight. Even though he knew that he was completely different from the fire demon Violent Lion, dying without a fight was definitely not his style. Boom! A loud sound rang out. The fire demon Violent Lion's claws fiercely slapped the night owl huge sword. It originally thought that this ugly huge sword would instantly turn into a pile of mud, because its claws had already surpassed most of the metals in this world. They were harder, sharper, and not to mention that the claws were imbued with profound chi, which was absolutely indestructible. However, reality shocked the fire demon Violent Lion. The ugly giant sword was unscathed, but a crack had appeared on its own claw. How was this possible? Completely impossible. The fire demon Violent Lion had gone through countless battles, and its indestructible claws had never been damaged. This time, facing an ant-like human, its claws were actually damaged. Of course, Yang Dingtian was even more uncomfortable. When the fire demon Violent Lion's claws smashed onto the night owl huge sword, he instantly felt a powerful force pressing down on him like a mountain. The night owl huge sword in his hand flew out, and his entire body shook as he violently spat out a mouthful of blood. His entire body was in excruciating pain, especially his arms. It was as if they were instantly broken inch by inch and turned into powder. Of course, this was only what he felt. However, if the night owl huge sword did not fly out of his hands, then Yang Dingtian's entire body would be instantly crushed, and he would be crushed into a pile of meat paste. Even though this was only 10% of the fire demon Violent Lion's strength. With its claws injured, the fire demon Violent Lion was instantly infuriated and roared. Boom! Like an ultrasonic weapon, the fire demon Violent Lion's roar suddenly shook out a dazzling light, and directly cut off a huge piece of rock weighing hundreds of thousands of kilograms from the incomparably hard stone wall. At the same time, the huge rocks on the ground began to crack. This fire demon Violent Lion was actually so powerful. Yang Dingtian looked at all this in horror. After its angry demonstration, the fire demon Violent Lion looked at its injured claws. It was extremely angry. Yes, you're just an ant, but you've angered me. I'm going to use all my strength to turn you into a pile of meat paste in an instant. Only then will my hatred be appeased. The fire demon Violent Lion said in a low voice. Then, it raised its sharp claws high and slammed them down. The sharp claws tore through the air, bursting out a blue light. Like a bolt of lightning, it suddenly tore towards Yang Dingtian's chest, wanting to turn him into a pile of meat paste in an instant. That's right, Yang Dingtian was wearing the deep-sea Xian robe. But it was useless. The deep-sea Xian robe might be able to resist an expert who was more than 10 levels stronger than Yang Dingtian. However, it was too difficult to block a great grandmaster fire demon Violent Lion. Even without any Xian Qi, the fire demon Violent Lion's claw was enough to shake Yang Dingtian to death with just its tyrannical strength. A treasure like the deep-sea Xian robe was useless in front of a great grandmaster, even if it was a great grandmaster in his weakened state. Bang! The fire demon Violent Lion's claws directly pierced Yang Dingtian's chest. However, Yang Dingtian was not smashed into meat paste. He was not even injured at all. The fire demon Violent Lion's claws pressed against his chest. It was not that the fire demon Violent Lion showed mercy, but that it was blocked. However, it was not blocked by the deep-sea Xian robe, but by something else. What is it? What are you wearing here? The fire demon Violent Lion struggled to speak. Even though it had cultivated for hundreds of years, it was still very difficult for it to speak the human language. Of course, it was still far from being able to transform into a human. Yang Dingtian suddenly thought of the teardrop pendant that Shiman Ningning had put on for him before he left. This was probably the most precious and mysterious thing that Shiman Ningning had. He did not expect this teardrop pendant to be so powerful that it could block the fire demon Violent Lion's shocking attack. Teardrop pendant. The fire demon Violent Lion crazily poured out its Xian Qi, wanting to completely tear Yang Dingtian into pieces. The flame-like fog burned on Yang Dingtian's chest. Suddenly, the teardrop pendant was faintly discernible, revealing its beautiful figure. Seeing the teardrop pendant's figure, the fire demon Violent Lion was completely petrified, as if it was struck by lightning. Disbelief, disbelief, fear, worship, fear, horror. All of these emotions burst out from its eyes. I didn't see it, I didn't see it, I didn't see it. I ran to forget it, forget it. Suddenly, the fire demon Violent Lion roared, shouting, I didn't see it, more than 10 times, and these few words were very clear. Subsequently, it abruptly closed its eyes and swiftly fled without a trace. It rampaged all along the way and smashed countless enormous rocks into pieces, and it directly ran out of the myriad blood pool and left its territory. Even if a demonic beast gave up its own life, it would definitely not give up its territory. Just now, when the 8-headed demon flood dragon appeared a few dozen meters away from its territory, the fire demon Violent Lion rushed out to fight it to the death. But now, when the fire demon Violent Lion saw this teardrop pendant, it did not even want its own territory and directly ran away, unwilling to see this thing. What exactly was this teardrop pendant? It actually made a grandmaster demonic beast run away. It clearly saw it, but desperately tried to forget it. What kind of magic did it have? Yang Dingtian reached out to feel the teardrop pendant, and immediately, it revealed its shape. It was beautiful, sparkling and translucent. But Yang Dingtian did not feel any energy, only a cold touch. There was no time to think about this. Time was running out, and he had to leave this place immediately. Yang Dingtian quickly ran out, but he suddenly thought of Dugu Fengwu and couldn't help but take a glance at the place where she was lying down. She was still unconscious, and there was a pile of clothes beside her. On the clothes was a token carved out of bone. This should be the 10,000 blood token. Only with this token could one enter the 10,000 blood pool to cultivate. After hesitating for a moment, Yang Dingtian went forward to carry her and took away all her clothes. He then quickly ran out of the cave. These few thousand meters of cave were in a complete mess. Every place was filled with blood, charred, and cracks. Countless boulders had collapsed, and it was obvious how intense the battle between the fire demon Violent Lion and the 8-headed demon Flood Dragon was. In the middle of the cave, Yang Dingtian saw the fire demon Violent Lion. It was lying on the ground, curled up into a ball, and constantly muttered, I didn't see anything, I didn't see anything, I want to forget, I want to forget. At this moment, it didn't even feel Yang Dingtian's approach. Hey! Yang Dingtian! The fire demon Violent Lion suddenly stood up and turned around, instantly cracking the ceiling of the cave. Countless boulders fell on its body, but it didn't feel anything. It looked at Yang Dingtian with difficulty and spoke urgently in human language, quickly leave, quickly leave, quickly leave. Don't let me see you, quickly, quickly, Yang Dingtian said, I want to ask you, don't say what you saw. I didn't see anything, I didn't see anything. I won't say it even if I die, I won't say it even if I die. The fire demon Violent Lion muttered to itself. Yang Dingtian nodded and continued to run out of the cave with Dugu Fengwu in his arms. At this moment, it was 58 hours before the life-and-death battle with Qin Shaobai. Soon enough, Yang Dingtian left the giant cave and was about to climb up with a rope. But suddenly, Yang Dingtian's movements stopped. He felt that something was amiss. That's right, something was amiss. The battle between the fire demon Violent Lion and the 8-headed demon Flood Dragon could be said to be world-shaking. Even though they were far away, how could the Temple of Blood's members not notice it? How could they not react? At this moment, there wasn't a single person on the stone path. There wasn't even a single person on the back of the mountain of blood. This was obviously abnormal. Could it be that the Temple of Blood didn't care about the battle between the fire demon Violent Lion and the 8-headed demon Flood Dragon? This was impossible. As such, Yang Dingtian carried Dugu Fengwu and walked a few hundred meters into the depths of the cave. He hid her temporarily in a secret place and covered her with his clothes. After hesitating for a moment, he took out the blood token from her clothes and kept it in his embrace. After doing all this, Yang Dingtian went out again and grabbed the rope to climb up. After climbing over 1,000 meters and making many turns, he arrived at Dugu Aoshuang's small building. Just as he took a step forward, Yang Dingtian stopped. By right, Dugu Aoshuang should be very anxious and should be waiting in the courtyard outside. However, the courtyard was empty. The small building was lit up with lights. Half a day has passed, and Yang Dingtian is still not here. He is either dead or has run away. He won't be coming. Suddenly, a voice entered Yang Dingtian's ears, causing his body to shiver. He felt a chill from the inside out. This was the voice of the Temple of Blood's master, Dugu Shao. It was that devil's voice. Afterward, he saw a figure drawing out a sharp sword through the window and placing it across a woman's neck. This woman had a graceful figure and was none other than Dugu Aoshuang. You are my daughter, but you betrayed the Temple of Blood. You betrayed your father for someone from a prestigious sect. Therefore, you have to die. The Temple of Blood's master said indifferently, of course, it is also because you are my daughter. Before I kill you to clean up the sect, I took pity on you and agreed to let you see him one last time before you die. However, he didn't come and won't come. Therefore, you can die in peace. It was no wonder that there was no one guarding the entire stone path. The Temple of Blood's master was waiting for Yang Dingtian here. There was no path to heaven and no door to hell. It would be fine if Yang Dingtian died in the Myriad Blood Cave. However, if he wanted to escape, he would have to seek Dugu Aoshuang's help. Therefore, the Temple of Blood's master was waiting here. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was faced with two choices. The first choice was to act as if nothing had happened and turn to leave. Putting aside whether he could escape, at the very least, he should not barge into the Temple of Blood's master's demonic claws. Even though Yang Dingtian had promised Dugu Aoshuang that as long as he didn't die, he would definitely look for her again. The second choice was to fulfill his promise to Dugu Aoshuang and ignore the terror of the Temple of Blood's master. He would walk into the small building and fall into his demonic claws once again. Yang Dingtian sighed in his heart and then said, "Throw out a piece of clothing. I'm completely naked. It's very indecent." He made the second choice. Moreover, with Dugu Zhao's cultivation, he had already noticed Yang Dingtian the moment he walked out of the cave. Ah! Dugu Aoshuang cried out in surprise and was about to rush out. You're really back. Why did you come back? Run quickly, run quickly. Run as far as you can. Dugu Aoshuang screamed at Yang Dingtian. Get me a piece of clothing, Yang Dingtian said again. Dugu Aoshuang immediately burst into tears and turned to look for clothes for Yang Dingtian. She knew in her heart that it was impossible for Yang Dingtian to escape from under her father's nose. Immediately after, Dugu Aoshuang walked out with the clothes. Yang Dingtian realized that her face was covered with a veil and only her alluring curves could be seen. What should I do? What should I do? Dugu Aoshuang cried softly, You fool! You came here and saw my father. Why didn't you run? His sword is on your neck, Yang Dingtian said. He is just putting on an act for you. I am his daughter after all. He might not really do it. Dugu Aoshuang said, and if he really wanted to kill me, even if you appeared, he would still do it. Even if I didn't make a sound, how could I escape? I was still over 1,000 meters away from your small building, and he had already noticed me. Yang Dingtian said, the reason why your father is waiting for me here is because he doesn't put me in his eyes in terms of martial strength. He knows that even if I am able to walk out of the blood pool cave alive, I will never be able to escape the blood mountain without your help. Then what should we do now? Dugu Aoshuang said, why don't we do this? No matter what he says, you should agree to it first and completely compromise to preserve your life. When Dugu Fengwu returns, we might still have a chance of survival. Dugu Fengwu. Her beautiful face and body appeared in Yang Dingtian's mind again. However, this woman couldn't be counted on. The moment she woke up, she would definitely draw her sword and kill someone. Yang Dingtian nodded indifferently. After putting on his clothes, he walked inside. What Yang Dingtian needed to do next was to escape from Dugu Zhao's demonic claws in the shortest time possible, take out the Temple of Blood, and return to the Cloud Heaven City. He wasn't confident, but he had to do it. Even though he had the ultimate secret weapon, which was the teardrop accessory that made the fire demon Violent Lion tremble in fear, it should still be effective against Dugu Zhao. However, unless Dugu Zhao wanted to kill him immediately, Yang Dingtian definitely wouldn't use it. There were still around 57 hours before the duel with Qin Xiaobai. This place was around 7,000 miles away from the Cloud Heaven City. He had to escape from the Temple of Blood within 3 to 4 hours. Chapter 114. He walked into Dugu Aoshuang's building. The Temple of Blood's master was seated at the seat of honor. Yang Dingtian pays his respects to the Temple of Blood's master. Yang Dingtian bowed slightly. "Aren't you going to call me father-in-law?" The Temple of Blood's master asked coldly. "Dugu Aoshuang is Dugu Aoshuang. You are you," Yang Dingtian said. The Temple of Blood's master's eyes were filled with mockery as he revealed a cruel smile. "Over the years, you are the only one who has won against me in a mental battle. You fought with me, and you won. You're really amazing. Even now, I still find it hard to believe that you actually won against me in a mental battle." Yang Dingtian stood there quietly. He wasn't humble or arrogant. The Temple of Blood's master didn't ask how Yang Dingtian discovered his mental trap or how Yang Dingtian knew that only 3 days had passed in the prison and not half a month. In order to enter the blood pool to cultivate, you actually lured the 8-headed demon Flood Dragon to invade the fire demon Violent Lion's territory, allowing the 2 powerful demonic beasts to fight to the death. Then, you took the opportunity to enter the blood pool to cultivate. What a great plan. You have probably cultivated for a few hours. Have you successfully broken through? The Temple of Blood's master asked. "I have successfully broken through. Thank you for your inquiry, Palace Master," Yang Dingtian said. The Temple of Blood's master, Dugu Zhao, asked again. At this moment, the fire demon Violent Lion should have returned to its territory. "After you came out of the blood pool, how did you escape the blood pool's cave without being torn into pieces by the fire demon Violent Lion?" Yang Dingtian took out a token. It was a blood token carved from bones. "I'll return this token to you," Yang Dingtian said. "Where did you get this token?" The Temple of Blood's master asked coldly. "I picked it up. It was on a pile of rocks in the blood pool," Yang Dingtian said. "You are quite lucky," the Temple of Blood's master said. "I thought you would die under the claws of the fire demon Violent Lion. Other than the 10,000 blood token, what else did you see?" The Temple Master asked coldly as he stared intently at Yang Dingtian. He wanted to know if Yang Dingtian had met with Dugu Fengwu. Of course, he felt that it was impossible as Dugu Fengwu was cultivating on the 4th level. Even if Yang Dingtian died, he wouldn't be able to enter the 4th level of the blood pool. "A pile of clothes, men's clothes," Yang Dingtian answered honestly. The brows of the Temple of Myriad Blood's Temple Master immediately loosened up and he said with a smile, "You've already deceived me and successfully attained a breakthrough in the Myriad Blood pool. You're only left with the final step of escaping. Now that you've fallen into my hands, all your efforts have been for naught. What are you going to do? Let's leave it to fate. We'll deal with it as we see fit," Yang Dingtian said. "Do you want to live? Are you thinking of escaping?" the Temple Master asked. "Yes," Yang Dingtian replied. The Temple Master smiled and said, "You've defeated me and become my son-in-law. Therefore, I have to treat you better. I'll give you 2 choices. As long as you can do it, I can let you go." Yang Dingtian didn't relax at all. This man in front of him was a devil, and he couldn't let his guard down at any moment. I'm willing to hear the details, Yang Dingtian said. The temple master said, the first choice is for me to let you escape and give you a bat to ride on. You can ride this bat demon beast and escape in any direction. This bat will cooperate with you unreservedly on the escape route because this is my command. However, you only have an hour to run away. After an hour, I will send out thousands of troops and even myself to capture you. After 1 hour, no matter where you are, this bat demonic beast will throw you down from the sky. Then what's the second choice? Yang Dingtian asked. The second choice. The temple master said, you went through so much trouble to cultivate in the 10,000 blood pool just to defeat Qin Shaobai, right? Yes, Yang Dingtian said. Then what's Qin Shaobai's cultivation level now? The temple master asked. On the surface, he's a 9-star mystic martial warrior. In fact, he should have broken through to the mystic martial master level, Yang Dingtian said. The temple master said, he broke through to the mystic martial master level, right? Alright, I'll choose a mystic martial master who just broke through to the mystic martial master level. You will have a life and death duel with him. The winner will live and the loser will die. If you can win against this mystic martial master, it will prove that there's still meaning in your duel with Qin Shaobai. If you lose, you will die and won't have to go. This is your second choice. Have a life and death duel with a beginner mystic martial master. The winner will live and the loser will die. The two choices were all explained. The first choice was to let Yang Dingtian escape for 1 hour before the Temple of Blood sent people to capture him. The second choice was to have a life and death duel with a beginner mystic martial master. If he won, he would let Yang Dingtian go. The first choice was like a game of cat and mouse, fully tormenting Yang Dingtian. The second choice was a life and death game. Dugu Aoshuang looked at Yang Dingtian anxiously and worriedly. She really didn't know which option Yang Dingtian should choose, but she didn't want Yang Dingtian to choose the second choice. I'll choose the second choice, Yang Dingtian suddenly said. No, Dugu Aoshuang said in a miserable voice because the second choice was a life and death game. If Yang Dingtian had a life and death duel with a mystic martial master, the loser would die. Yang Dingtian was now a 3-star mystic martial warrior. He was 1 stage and 7 levels away from becoming a mystic martial master. Are you sure you want to choose the second choice? The temple master asked. I'm sure, Yang Dingtian said. Alright, I'll fulfill your greatness and stubbornness. The temple master sneered and said, the duel will begin in 2 hours. It's noon, the most auspicious time to kill and see blood. Yang Dingtian didn't deny and just smiled. Men. The temple master stood up and said. Instantly, over 10 black-robed warriors appeared from the darkness. Every one of them covered their faces and held curved blades in their hands. Follow Yang Dingtian closely. As long as he doesn't leave empty 10,000 blood, he can go anywhere and do anything he wants. What all of you need to do is to stay within 3 feet of him at all times. The temple master ordered coldly, send him to the duel arena in 2 hours. Yes. Over 100 black-robed warriors shouted coldly. Their voices were orderly and wooden. There was only coldness and no emotions. Then, the temple master said to Yang Dingtian, every one of these black-robed warriors has a cultivation that is 10 times stronger than yours. If you wish to escape, feel free to give it a try. There are still 2 hours before the duel arena. You can tour around and also get intimate with Dugu Aoshuang. In short, enjoy your last 2 hours. With that, the temple master turned and left. Then, over 10 black-robed warriors went forward and surrounded Yang Dingtian in the middle. They didn't leave within 3 feet of him. At this moment, there were still 55 hours before the duel with Qin Shaobai. Under the encirclement of over 10 black-robed warriors, Yang Dingtian and Dugu Aoshuang strolled around him 10,000 blood. The entire empty 10,000 blood was huge and hideous. There wasn't much scenery, but the word strange stood out. Also, it was the evil and mysterious characteristic of evil ways. Why didn't you choose the first one? Why did you choose the second one? Why did you choose the most dangerous one? Dugu Aoshuang asked. Yang Dingtian smiled and said, actually, no matter which one I choose, it's all the same. Your father has never thought of letting me go. He's only playing with me and tormenting me. It's just like how a cat won't kill and eat a mouse when it catches one. Instead, it will play with the mouse to its heart's content until the mouse is in despair. Previously, he had already lost to me in the spiritual battle in the prison. Do you think he will let me go again? Then what should we do? Dugu Aoshuang asked anxiously. Spend our last 2 hours well. Don't think too much about anything else. Yang Dingtian said, just now, I was in the 10,000 blood pool cave. It was really close to death. Are you interested in going in to play again? Dugu Aoshuang instinctively shook her head. At this moment, she really wasn't in the mood to play. However, seeing Yang Dingtian's gaze, she still instinctively nodded. Thus, the two of them climbed down from the rope and walked into the 10,000 blood pool cave. Yang Dingtian walked very quickly on the stone path that was a few thousand meters long. Because of the battle between the two formidable demonic beasts, the stone path was in a mess. Even Dugu Aoshuang, who was worried, revealed a curious expression. However, these black-robed martial artists turned a blind eye to it. Their eyes were closely following Yang Dingtian. They had no interest in the outside world and were like robots. Yang Dingtian walked faster and faster, deeper and deeper. Dugu Aoshuang followed behind and couldn't help but reveal a trace of doubt. She didn't know what Yang Dingtian wanted to do. Midway, it was the place where Yang Dingtian hid Dugu Fengwu. Dugu Aoshuang, who was in a mess, didn't notice it. The black-robed warriors were even more indifferent to everything on the path. When they were nearing the Fire Demon Violent Lion's territory, Dugu Aoshuang reminded, the Fire Demon Violent Lion's territory is in front. Those without the 10,000 blood token will be in danger if they go near. The Fire Demon Violent Lion will tear us into pieces. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Yang Dingtian said, oh right, these bat blood guards are really like killing machines. Do they only know how to obey orders? Don't they have their own emotions? Dugu Aoshuang didn't know why Yang Dingtian was asking this, but she still nodded. When they were about 100 meters away from the entrance of the 10,000 blood pool cave, which was also the Fire Demon Violent Lion's territory, Yang Dingtian suddenly stopped. He patted Dugu Aoshuang's shoulder and said, you stay here. Why? Dugu Aoshuang asked. Don't ask why. Just do as I say. Yang Dingtian said, trust me. Just do as I say. Through this sentence, it was obvious that Yang Dingtian had ill intentions. If they were smart, they would immediately kill Yang Dingtian. However, the black-robed warriors acted as though they didn't hear anything. Their sharp gazes followed Yang Dingtian closely. As long as he didn't leave their sight, no matter what Yang Dingtian did or said, they wouldn't bother. This was the temple master's order. They were the bat blood guards, and their duty was to obey the orders of the temple master. Obey, obey, obey. Furthermore, it was absolute obedience. Even if it was a mountain of blades, a sea of flames, or an abyss of hell. After letting Dugu Aoshuang stay where she was, Yang Dingtian headed straight for the 10,000 blood pool cave. He headed straight for the Fire Demon Violent Lion's territory. Without any hesitation, the bat blood guards followed closely behind. Very soon, the Fire Demon Violent Lion discovered this group of possible intruders. It immediately stood up slowly with its huge body. Its eyes shot out a warning and furious glow as it opened its bloody mouth at the group. It was obvious that as long as they dared to take a step into its territory, it would start a massacre. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian increased his speed abruptly and dashed toward the 10,000 blood pool cave. No! Dugu Aoshuang cried out in surprise. She then broke into a run and chased after Fang Xingzhan. The Bat Blood Guards didn't hesitate, nor did they panic. They maintained their speed no matter how fast Yang Dingtian was. They maintained a distance of 3 feet from Yang Dingtian at all times. It looked like Yang Dingtian was about to pass through the door and invade the fire demon Violent Lion's territory. 5 meters, 4 meters, 3 meters, 2 meters, 1 meter, Yang Dingtian, no. Dugu Aoshuang cried out in surprise. Yang Dingtian leaped and dashed over. Dugu Aoshuang closed her eyes, not daring to see the scene of Yang Dingtian being torn apart by the fire demon Violent Lion. Moreover, in her opinion, this tragedy would definitely happen because Yang Dingtian didn't have the 10,000 blood token anymore. The fire demon Violent Lion would kill anyone who entered without the 10,000 blood token, even if it was the temple master himself. This demonic beast only recognized the token and not the person. The fire demon Violent Lion was so powerful that it could smash Yang Dingtian into meat paste with just a light slap. But soon, something that shocked Dugu Aoshuang happened. Yang Dingtian, who had barged into the fire demon Violent Lion's territory, wasn't attacked at all. That formidable demonic beast roared at Yang Dingtian. Even though it was incomparably furious, it still didn't launch an attack. What's going on? How is this possible? Dugu Aoshuang was shocked. Could it be that the fire demon Violent Lion's temperament changed drastically after the battle with the 8-headed demon Flood Dragon? Yang Dingtian continued to walk in and was already more than 3 feet into the stone door. Without any hesitation or fear, the first Bat Blood Guard followed him and stepped through the stone door, intruding into the fire demon Violent Lion's territory as though it didn't know what was going on. Roar! The fire demon Violent Lion was furious. How dare someone intrude into its territory? Courting death. Instantly, it pounced forward and slapped with its claws. The Bat Blood Guard pulled out its curved blade and slashed at the fire demon Violent Lion. It was decisive and ruthless, as though it wasn't a Grandmaster-level demonic beast in front of it, but an ordinary tiger or leopard. Red. With a loud sound, blood mist splattered everywhere. The first Bat Blood Guard was instantly smashed into meat paste and disappeared before everyone's eyes. Even though he had foreseen this scene, Yang Dingtian was still shocked by this bloody scene. But what happened next was even more shocking and shocking. But the second, third, and fourth continued to walk through the stone door and intrude into the fire demon Violent Lion's territory one after another. They truly didn't know what fear was and didn't know what death was. They didn't stop and didn't panic. It was as though they were queuing up to enter the library, entering one after another. Everyone had clearly seen the first Bat Blood Guard being smashed into meat paste, but they still chose to queue up and die. The fire demon Violent Lion was also stunned, but it became even more furious. It felt that it was being looked down upon. Roar! It roared again and slapped down again. The second Bat Blood Guard pulled out its curved blade to block, doing exactly the same as the first Bat Blood Guard. Then, the result was exactly the same. It was smashed into meat paste. Followed by the third, fourth, and fifth. Everyone's actions were the same, as though they were the same person. Pulling out the curved blade, it was like a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Then, it was smashed into meat paste by the fire demon Violent Lion. Just like that, everyone queued up to die in an orderly manner. Yang Dingtian and Dugu Aoshuang weren't the only ones who were shocked speechless. Even the fire demon Violent Lion was stunned. When the last Bat Blood Guard walked in, its raised claw was still trembling slightly. It was obviously used to killing people like scything flax, but it actually couldn't bring itself to slap down. They are just stupid humans. It's better to kill them all. The fire demon Violent Lion roared and slapped down. The last Bat Blood Guard was smashed into meat paste. In less than 3 minutes, more than 10 powerful Bat Blood Guards were wiped out. They were killed by Yang Dingtian in a very simple way. But at this moment, Yang Dingtian didn't feel any joy in his heart, only sorrow and shock. That's right. Yang Dingtian promised the temple master that he would choose the second option, a duel with a beginner mystic martial master. He was a man of his word, but he wasn't pedantic. He understood the temple master very well. Not to mention whether a 3-star mystic martial warrior like Yang Dingtian could defeat a beginner mystic martial master. Even if Yang Dingtian won in the end, the temple master wouldn't keep his word and let him go. To keep one's word with a man of his word, but to keep one's word with a man of his word, that wasn't noble, but foolish. Therefore, Yang Dingtian never wanted to choose one option. The only thing he wanted was to think of a way to escape. At this moment, there were still 53 hours before the duel with Qin Xiaobai. After killing, the fire demon Violent Lion returned to its bed and turned its back to Yang Dingtian. It was as if it didn't see Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian didn't look at the fire demon Violent Lion and walked out. When he stepped out of the stone door, the fire demon Violent Lion laid down and closed its eyes to sleep. Yang Dingtian went forward and held Dugu Aoshuang's hand. Her hand was ice cold. Let's go, Yang Dingtian said. Dugu Aoshuang looked at Yang Dingtian in disbelief and said, why didn't the fire demon Violent Lion kill you? Yang Dingtian said, this is a secret between us. Let's go, I still have something I need you to do. After that, Yang Dingtian held Dugu Aoshuang's hand and walked forward. Dugu Aoshuang seemed to have yet to recover from the shock and followed Yang Dingtian in a daze. She looked at Yang Dingtian with a complicated gaze from time to time. Because she was from the Temple of Blood, and because the person that Yang Dingtian killed was also from the Temple of Blood. Therefore, the emotions in her heart were in a mess right now. Soon enough, Yang Dingtian pulled Dugu Aoshuang to the place where Dugu Fengwu was hidden and stopped. He looked into her eyes and said, Shuang, no matter what you see next, don't be surprised and don't suspect me, alright? Dugu Aoshuang didn't understand, but she still nodded obediently. Yang Dingtian walked to the corner and moved away the boulder that was blocking them. Dugu Fengwu's absolutely beautiful body was revealed. She was simply wrapped in an inner skirt and covered with a piece of clothing. Sister! Dugu Aoshuang exclaimed and immediately pounced forward. Dugu Aoshuang went forward to help the beautiful person up. She saw that Dugu Fengwu's absolutely beautiful face was deathly pale, and there were traces of blood at the corner of her mouth. She immediately looked at Yang Dingtian and said, Yang Dingtian, what did you do to her? Yang Dingtian said, I didn't do anything. Dugu Aoshuang said, then why is she like this? Yang Dingtian explained, a few hours ago, after the fire demon Violent Lion left the cave and fought with the 8-headed demon Flood Dragon, I entered the cave and jumped into the 10,000 blood pool to cultivate. But I didn't expect that when I entered the 4th level of the 10,000 blood pool, I would find your sister, Dugu Fengwu, there as well. At that time, she was cultivating with her eyes closed and didn't have any reaction. After I finished cultivating, I immediately left the 10,000 blood pool. But right at this moment, she suddenly woke up and found me immediately. She wanted to kill me. In the end, when she was circulating her mystic qi, she went berserk and fainted. Afterward, Yang Dingtian explained the situation tirelessly. Will she die? Dugu Aoshuang asked. She won't. Her mystic meridians were injured, and I immediately gave her the best elixir. It is even better than the elixir that I took. I believe that she will be fine after a period of time. Yang Dingtian didn't lie. He gave Dugu Fengwu the 6th grade Saint Spirit elixir that Ningning gave him. Even when Yang Dingtian was at his most injured state, he didn't consume it. Dugu Aoshuang hesitated for a long time and couldn't help but ask, then did you do anything to her? Why is she completely naked? I have never heard that entering the 10,000 blood pool to cultivate requires such things. Furthermore, she is so beautiful, and no man in this world can resist her temptation. I didn't do anything. The first 3 levels of the 10,000 blood pool don't require the removal of clothes. But once you enter the 4th level, even if you are wearing clothes, all your worldly possessions will instantly turn into ashes. Yang Dingtian said, furthermore, your sister is vicious and merciless. Despite her unparalleled beauty, I have always kept a respectful distance from her. Dugu Aoshuang lowered her head for a moment and said gently, I believe you. Immediately after, Dugu Aoshuang started to carefully tidy up Dugu Fengwu's clothes. Yang Dingtian was in a hurry to put on his clothes, so Shuang had to take off some of his clothes before putting them back on. Yang Dingtian quickly turned around. Intentionally or unintentionally, he still secretly checked Dugu Fengwu's entire body. She might have a kind heart, but she was still very suspicious. Ah! Suddenly, Dugu Aoshuang exclaimed and spoke with a trembling voice, Yang Dingtian, you still say that you didn't do anything. How can you do this? Yang Dingtian was shocked and couldn't help but ask, what did I do? You still say that you didn't do anything to my sister. Take a look for yourself. Dugu Aoshuang cried out. When Yang Dingtian turned around and saw this scene, he was instantly stupefied. He saw a trace of captivating red blood stain on Dugu Fengwu's snow-white thigh, which was especially eye-catching. Furthermore, the blood was flowing out from her body. Shuang's tears immediately gushed out as she looked at Yang Dingtian in disbelief. How can you do such a beastly thing? She is my sister. This time, Yang Dingtian really couldn't clear his name even if he jumped into the Yellow River. How could this be? Yang Dingtian obviously didn't do anything to Dugu Fengwu, and the others didn't do anything either. When Yang Dingtian hid Dugu Fengwu, there was no one else in the cave. Furthermore, there were no traces of the boulder being moved. There was only one explanation. Either Yang Dingtian's action of hugging her was too big, and he accidentally hurt her body. Or, when the fire demon Violent Lion went berserk, the boulder in the cave collapsed, and the dismembered corpses flew everywhere. One of the shattered rocks just so coincidentally injured Dugu Fengwu. Even though it was too much of a coincidence, there were only these two explanations. Yang Dingtian was 10,000% sure that he didn't do anything to this woman. He was really wronged to death. Yang Dingtian immediately spoke out these two possibilities. Impossible. Dugu Aoshuang had always been pure and weak, but now, her suspicious and extreme character was completely revealed. Her eyes were bloodshot as she said, It is you. My sister is so beautiful, and no man can resist her charm. When she didn't have any ability to resist, you must have sullied her. Looking at her eyes, Yang Dingtian knew that all his explanations were futile. Dugu Aoshuang's environment was too special. Even though she was innocent and kind, she was also extremely stubborn. Once she decided on something, she would never change her mind. He took a deep breath and said, Then I won't explain anymore. It's up to you to believe it or not. There isn't much time left. Let's put on her clothes and carry her to your house. After that, we have to leave immediately. Because you betrayed your father, he will definitely not let you off. No, I won't go with you even if I die. Dugu Aoshuang said agitatedly, Leave quickly. Leave immediately. I don't want to see you again. Leave immediately. The current Dugu Aoshuang was even a little hysterical. Yang Dingtian wanted to persuade her again, but unexpectedly, Dugu Aoshuang took out a white bone whistle and put it in her mouth to blow it. Leave immediately. Otherwise, I will blow the whistle. When that time comes, you won't be able to leave even if you want to. Dugu Aoshuang said with a trembling voice. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, I will still keep my promise and find something to restore your looks. No matter if the scales on your body are from some kind of poison or if you are from a special race, my promise to you will not change. I will definitely come back and give you an explanation. No, you don't have to come. I don't want to see you again. Dugu Aoshuang said coldly. Yang Dingtian bowed deeply and said, Then take care. After that, Yang Dingtian took off his clothes and put on Dugu Fengwu's clothes. Dugu Fengwu was wearing a dashing male outfit. It was a white brocade robe with golden threads, making her look especially noble and unruly. Her height wasn't inferior to Yang Dingtian, so this outfit was very fitting on Yang Dingtian's body. Yang Dingtian put on Dugu Fengwu's golden mask and wore Dugu Fengwu's unique jade pendant on his waist. At this moment, from the surface, it was hard to recognize that Yang Dingtian was impersonating Dugu Fengwu. Yang Dingtian kept his night owl giant sword into his spatial ring and picked up Dugu Fengwu's artifact sword. He then quickly walked out of the cave. Looking at Yang Dingtian's back view, Shuang immediately cried out loudly. As she cried, she helped Dugu Fengwu wear Yang Dingtian's clothes. Yang Dingtian, I hate you. But I still love you. I am chasing you away because I don't want to implicate you. Just as Yang Dingtian walked out of the cave, countless bows and weapons were aimed at him. Over 100 experts from the Temple of Blood were riding on flying beasts and wielding weapons as they surrounded Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian didn't move and just stood there indifferently. He lifted his head slightly and looked at everyone with disdain. When they saw Dugu Fengwu coming out, all the experts from the Temple of Blood jumped off their flying beasts and knelt on the ground, sticking their upper bodies to the ground. It was obvious how much respect Dugu Fengwu had in the Temple of Blood, and how much respect everyone had for her. Yang Dingtian's height was about the same as Dugu Fengwu's, and with Dugu Fengwu's clothes and mask on the ship, the group of people from the Temple of Blood didn't even dare to take a closer look. Therefore, they treated Yang Dingtian as Dugu Fengwu. Yang Dingtian ignored them and walked past the crowd. He picked an awe-inspiring flying beast, which was a golden lion vulture. He leaped onto this golden lion vulture and flew towards the southwest direction of Cloud Heaven City. At this moment, the morning sun rose, and the disc-like twin suns jumped up from the river of ecstasy. The blood-red river of ecstasy made the twin suns look as red as blood. At this moment, there were still around 50 hours before the martial arts duel with Qin Shaobai. And this place was still close to 7,000 miles away from Cloud Heaven City. The golden lion vulture flew faster and faster on the surface of the river of ecstasy, and the giant mountain of blood behind it was getting further and further away. Farewell, Temple of Blood. Qin Shaobai, wait for me. I am coming. Wait for me to have a battle to the death with you. Yang Dingtian flew towards Cloud Heaven City with an intense murderous aura and willpower. Chapter 115. Riding on the golden griffin, Yang Dingtian frantically urged it to fly. Fly, fly, fly. Fly at the fastest speed possible. Yang Dingtian wasn't safe enough now. As long as the Temple of Blood found Dugu Fengwu, Yang Dingtian would be exposed. Therefore, the pursuers could come at any time, and they would definitely come. Therefore, Yang Dingtian had to make use of this precious time to fly as far away as possible from the Temple of Blood. As long as he flew out of the Temple of Blood's sphere of influence and entered the neutral land of chaos, he wouldn't have to be afraid. The land of chaos was filled with all sorts of people. As one of the evil ways, the Temple of Blood definitely wouldn't dare to enter the land of chaos openly. Yang Dingtian drove the golden griffin to fly frantically. After flying over a few hundred miles of the Rapture River, there were no pursuers. After flying over 1,000 miles of the Temple of Blood's sphere of influence, there were still no pursuers. Yang Dingtian's tensed heart gradually relaxed. After flying over 1,000 miles of almost no man's land, there were still no pursuers. It was a pity that this golden griffin's speed was far inferior to that incomparably huge bloodthirsty bat. Finally, after 6 hours of flying in over 2,000 miles, Yang Dingtian left the Temple of Blood's sphere of influence. Then, after more than 2 hours of flying, they crossed the Netherworld swamp, which weighed thousands of kilograms. Finally, Yang Dingtian entered the neutral land of chaos. He was basically safe here. As long as Yang Dingtian disguised himself slightly, he would be able to blend into the crowd. Yang Dingtian let out a breath of relief, but he still felt a little strange. Why were there no pursuers? Could it be that they didn't discover the Dugu sisters? Or perhaps Dugu Aoshuang didn't say anything and even helped him cover up? Otherwise, there would definitely be pursuers. It was really strange. However, young Ding Tian didn't have time to think so much. He was already very lucky to be able to escape alive. After entering the fringe, one would have to land because the place was too chaotic. Flying in the sky would be too one-sided and one could be shot down at any time. Moreover, only by blending into the chaotic crowd would one be truly safe. Of course, a heaven-defying expert like Dugu Fengwu could strut around wherever she went. At the edge of the fringe, there weren't many people. Yang Dingtian found a deserted place at the southern edge of the netherworld swamp and descended from the sky. After that, he knocked the golden lion vulture unconscious and took off Dugu Fengwu's elegant clothes. He took off his mask and changed into an unremarkable silk robe from his spatial ring. After that, he used the disguise technique that Shima Ningning had taught him to disguise himself into a person who looked rather glamorous on the surface, but was actually in dire straits. Immediately after, Yang Dingtian used his fastest speed to rush to the southern edge of the netherworld swamp. This was the place where he and the Black Blood Cavalry brothers had agreed to meet. Yang Dingtian needed these 10 Black Blood Cavalry brothers to escort him back to the Cloud Heaven City. Furthermore, Yang Dingtian was very concerned about their safety. However, when Yang Dingtian arrived at the meeting place, he didn't see the figures of the 10 Black Blood Cavalry brothers. Moreover, there were a few bloodstains in the reeds. However, there didn't seem to be many traces of battle. It seemed that even with the cultivation of the Black Blood Cavalry experts, they didn't have enough time to fight. Yang Dingtian's heart jumped. What happened? Could the Black Blood Cavalry brothers have met Dugu Fengwu? After searching the surroundings again, he still couldn't find any traces of the 10 Black Blood Cavalry brothers. Yang Dingtian wasn't willing to give up and searched everywhere like a madman. However, after searching for close to 2 hours, he still couldn't find any traces. There was no note, no secret signal, and no half a warhorse. The 10 Black Blood Cavalry brothers seemed to have evaporated into thin air and disappeared into thin air. Yang Dingtian was very upset, but he couldn't waste any more time. At this moment, there were less than 40 hours before the duel with Qin Shaobai. This place was close to 4,000 miles away from the Cloud Heaven City. Yang Dingtian was in trouble. Without the escort of the 10 Black Blood Cavalry experts, he couldn't escape. With just Yang Dingtian alone, it was almost impossible for him to reach the Cloud Heaven City within the stipulated time. The land of chaos was simply too chaotic. After searching for over an hour, Yang Dingtian still couldn't find any traces of the Black Blood Cavalry brothers. He couldn't delay any longer. Furthermore, the Temple of Blood's pursuers would arrive at any moment. Yang Dingtian could only give up first and send people to search for the whereabouts of the 10 Black Blood Cavalry brothers in the future. Yang Dingtian used his fastest speed to run out of the no man's land at the edge of the swamp. After spending 2 hours, he arrived at a town. At this moment, there were still 35 hours before the duel with Qin Shaobai. 35 hours to run close to 4,000 miles. If Yang Dingtian was alone and constantly switched to the best mounts, there might still be a chance. However, if Yang Dingtian was alone, there would be countless obstacles along the way. The land of chaos was the most dangerous region. The possibility of Yang Dingtian successfully covering 4,000 miles by himself was absolutely zero. Then, should he find a mercenary group to escort him? Not to mention that the mercenary groups in the land of chaos were ruthless and ruthless. Killing and robbing were common occurrences. Even if they were escorting him normally. It was absolutely impossible to cover 4,000 miles in 30 hours. Therefore, it seemed that Yang Dingtian was at his wit's end. Master, I really didn't want to look for them. I didn't expect that I would still have to look for them. Yang Dingtian sighed in his heart. He really didn't want to look for this faction, but he had no other choice at the moment. Therefore, Yang Dingtian found an inconspicuous restaurant in the town. Outside the restaurant, there was a drawing of a strange animal. It had the feet of a deer, the body of a snake, the legs of a lion, and the claws of a phoenix. This was the Taekwondo League's secret stronghold. This stronghold belonged to the Yin-Yang school. There were as many experts as there were clouds in the stronghold. They had the fastest and most powerful mounts that could travel more than 2,000 miles in a day. It was natural for the Taekwondo League to have strongholds in the land of chaos. These strongholds became the intelligence stations of the major sections. Anyone who said the correct entry point would receive the greatest help from the Taekwondo League stronghold. The other party didn't ask for any reason or conditions. They just needed to say the secret code and entry point. These secret codes were set by the Yin-Yang school. Without a doubt, because of Dongfang Minmi, Yang Dingtian knew all the secret codes of the Yin-Yang school strongholds. If he didn't have a choice, Yang Dingtian really didn't want to use any of the Yin-Yang school's forces. After taking a deep breath, Yang Dingtian walked into the Yin-Yang school stronghold and said to the shopkeeper, "Give me a bird fish from the eastern cloud state. Prepare an underground room for me. No windows, no openings, but the sun must be able to shine in." The shopkeeper's eyebrows trembled slightly as he said, "Follow me." Then, Yang Dingtian followed him to the underground secret room. "What do you want?" After entering the secret room, the shopkeeper didn't ask any questions and directly asked. Yang Dingtian replied, 5 experts at the martial mystic level and above to protect me. At least 1 martial ancestor level expert. The fastest mounts to escort me to Cloud Sky City. Okay, please wait a moment. The shopkeeper walked out of the secret room. At this time, there were still 34 hours until the battle with Qin Xiaobai. 10 minutes later, Yang Dingtian rode the fastest mounts to Cloud Sky City under the protection of 8 experts. This was the fastest mounts on the continent, covering a distance of 200 miles in an hour. Among the 8 experts, 5 were martial mystic level experts and 3 were martial ancestor level experts. Although such a team wasn't the strongest in the Bedlam lands, without any heavenly treasures, no one in the Bedlam lands was willing to provoke such a team because the losses outweighed the gains. He didn't eat, didn't sleep, and didn't rest. Yang Dingtian was in a frenzy as he traveled through the night sky and was as fast as lightning. After 30 hours, Yang Dingtian had traveled 4,000 miles. In front of him was a large river. This could be considered the end of the Bedlam lands. On the other side of the river was Cloud Sky City's sphere of influence. A few days ago, Yang Dingtian had crossed this river and entered the Bedlam lands, embarking on an arduous and dangerous journey. In the end, his efforts didn't go to waste. He had successfully broken through in the blood pool. However, thinking about his experiences during this period of time, Yang Dingtian let out a long sigh. Although it had only happened a few days ago, too many things had happened during this period of time. It was too thrilling, so it felt like a few years. Looking at the faintly visible Cloud Sky City, Yang Dingtian gritted his teeth and said, "Qin Xiaobai, I did all of this for you. Wait for me, I'll fight you to the death." Cross the river. Yang Dingtian suddenly raised his mount and quickly crossed the stone bridge, entering Cloud Sky City's territory. At this time, the 2 suns were almost in the middle of the sky. Once the sun was in the middle of the sky, it would be the final moment of the battle. Therefore, there were less than 2 hours left before the deadline. And the distance to Cloud Sky City was only a little more than 100 miles. At this time, in Cloud Sky City, there was a surging tide of people. Tens of thousands of people surrounded the battle arena, which was set up in the largest square in Cloud Sky City. Everyone looked at the 2 suns in the sky, waiting for the final moment to arrive, or perhaps Yang Dingtian's arrival. Qin Xiaobai, dressed in snow-white clothes, stood on the high platform, looking handsome and elegant. Shimen Yanyan stood on the highest platform in the center, looking east with her beautiful eyes. It was unknown whether she hoped that Yang Dingtian would appear or not. Madame Shimen's beautiful eyes were red and swollen, and her face was haggard. It was obvious that the rumors during this period of time had brought her incomparably great harm. Shimen Ningning looked to the east uneasily and muttered to herself, "Little Tian, I really hope that you don't come." Shimen Lai also looked to the east and said, "Yang Ding Tian, I hope that you can make it, but I also hope that you can't." The square was filled with people. There were Cloud Sky City's disciples and people from Cloud Sky City's related forces. This time, there were even more people in the square than in the previous elimination battle. Not only did Cloud Sky City turn out in full force, but all the forces in the territory were also present. Shimen Lai even brought nearly 1,000 Black Blood cavalry and sat neatly in a corner of the square. They didn't make any sound, but they had a powerful aura. Everyone knew that this battle would decide many things. Everyone was whispering to each other. If Yang Dingtian's previous breakthroughs were all because of his incest with Madame Shimen, then he definitely won't appear today. That's right. If that's the case, who knows where he would have escaped to by now. However, if he appears and defeats Qin Shaobai, then it means that his breakthrough was based on his own talent. That proves that his breakthrough was completely due to his heaven-defying talent, and the matter between him and Madame Shimen is just a rumor. That's right. If Yang Dingtian can defeat Qin Shaobai this time, then, no matter who spreads rumors about Yang Dingtian in the future, I won't believe it. That's right. If Yang Dingtian can defeat Qin Shaobai this time, then I will firmly support him to become the new Cloud Sky City Lord. Countless people were discussing spiritedly. Other than those close to Yang Dingtian, everyone was looking forward to Yang Dingtian's arrival. Yang Yan walked to Qin Shaobai's side and said indifferently, "We sent out hundreds of people, but we didn't get any news about Yang Dingtian." "Don't worry, he will come." "He's a fool." Qin Shaobai smiled faintly. "It's even better if he comes. We can settle it once and for all." Yang Yan said, "Yang Dingtian's talent is too shocking. If you really give him a year and a half, then you won't be his opponent in the martial arts competition for the City Lord's position next year." Hearing this, Qin Shaobai's face darkened. He then sneered, "But he won't live for a year and a half. It's enough that I'm much stronger than him. Even if he breaks through 2 or 3 levels, he will definitely die. He doesn't even know how much strength I have hidden." Yang Yan smiled faintly, "So, in the duel later, you must kill him instantly. Only then can you shock all the disciples of Cloud Sky City. Do you understand?" "Don't worry." Qin Shaobai said indifferently, "At most, he will die in 3 moves." 8 Taekwondo League experts protected Yang Dingtian as they rushed across the wide stone bridge in the shape of an arrow. This stone bridge was 300 meters long and 20 meters wide. At this moment, it was empty. 9 people and 9 mounts passed through like the wind. In front, the incomparably tall and majestic Cloud Sky City was already in sight. Chapter 116. 9 people and 9 mounts rushed across the stone bridge like the wind. Suddenly, the situation changed. A figure appeared out of thin air in the middle of the originally empty stone bridge. His back was facing Yang Dingtian and the others, blocking their path. He really did appear out of thin air. There was definitely no one on the bridge before. This person was dressed in a green robe and had a wooden stick in his hair. He looked simple and carefree. The 8 Heaven Dao Union's experts had a change in expression as they immediately surrounded Yang Dingtian. Subsequently, the leader of the martial ancestor class experts stepped forward and bowed, "Friend, please do us a favor and let us pass." The person blocking their path did not turn around. Instead, he said indifferently, "Leave this person behind and you can leave. I won't kill you." The Taekwondo League expert's expression changed. He said coldly, "Who are you? Are you determined to be our enemy today?" "Enemy? Just the few of you aren't worthy." The person blocking their path said indifferently. Then, he turned around. It was an ordinary face. Yang Dingtian had never seen this person before. Then, he pointed at Yang Dingtian, leave this person behind and you can leave. You want us to leave this person behind? Kill us first. The Tiando League expert said coldly. Then, the 8 of them drew their swords in unison. The person blocking their path slowly drew a thin sword from his sleeve. He said, kill you. All right then. Annihilation sword formation. The 8 Tiando League experts waved their swords in unison. 8 rays of light converged to form a dazzling blue ray. It was dazzling and shot towards the person blocking their path. With the 8 of them working together, their strength was even stronger than a martial ancestor realm expert. The power of this sword ray was unparalleled. It might not be able to topple mountains and overturn seas, but it would not be a problem to flatten a tall tower with dozens of floors. Even if there were hundreds of people at Yang Dingtian's level, they would still be reduced to ashes by this sword ray. The person blocking their path was not in a hurry. He gently drew a flower with his sword. Just when the others thought he was going to raise his sword to block, he held his sword behind his back. Then, he lightly flicked his left hand at the incoming sword ray. Boom! It was like a bomb that exploded silently. An incomparably powerful energy suddenly rippled out. In an instant, the dazzling and powerful exterminating sword radiance was turned into nothing. The sword formation formed by 8 experts was so powerful that the person blocking the way didn't even bother to use his weapon. He just flicked it away with a finger. The 8 experts of the Heavenly Tao Union were completely stupefied. They knew that this person was an expert when he had suddenly appeared in the middle of the stone bridge. However, they hadn't expected him to be so powerful. It wasn't that they couldn't catch up to him, but it wasn't that they couldn't catch up to him. The leader of the Tiando League, a martial arts grandmaster, put away his sword and bowed. Friend, no matter what business you have, please wait until we complete our mission and escort the target to Cloud Sky City. How about that? If you can do me this favor, then the Tiando League will owe you a favor. Originally, the identity of these people from the Heavenly Tao Union had to be kept a secret. However, now that they had encountered such a top-notch expert, they had to call out their names. Otherwise, if they were to kill someone, then it would very likely turn into a clash between 2 big forces. Tiando League? The person blocking the way raised his eyebrows and looked at Yang Dingtian. You actually found someone from the Tiando League to be your bodyguard. You really know how to cause trouble for me. The leader of the Tiando League said proudly, since you know about our Tiando League, then please do us a favor. The Tiando League is really scary. The person blocking the way waved his sword. But I'll say it again. Either you hand over the target, or you die. Hand over the target? Our Tiando League can't afford to lose face like this. The Tiando League expert said coldly. Then, he raised his sword and prepared for battle. Alright, then I'll kill a few Tiando League ants. The person blocking the way swung his sword, and a powerful force enveloped the entire bridge. Suddenly, the sturdy stone bridge cracked. Wait! Yang Dingtian couldn't bear to see the people from the Tiando League die just like that. Thus, he walked over. Stop right there. Quickly retreat to the protective formation, the Tiando League expert said. Yang Dingtian looked at him and said, your protection has ended. You guys have done an excellent job. Please return to the organization and report back. After saying that, Yang Dingtian got off his horse and walked toward the person blocking the way. The Tiando League expert hesitated for a moment, but he didn't stop Yang Dingtian from approaching the person blocking the way. Senior, I still wasn't able to escape from your evil clutches in the end. Yang Dingtian went forward and said helplessly. The person blocking the way was obviously the Temple of 10,000 Bloods Temple Master, Dugu Shao. However, his appearance had changed completely. However, Yang Dingtian was still able to recognize him from his eyes and his mocking and arrogant manner. It was no wonder that no one was chasing after Yang Dingtian when he left the Temple of 10,000 Blood on his golden griffin. Dugu Shao didn't think much of his escape. Originally, he could have captured Yang Dingtian at any time. However, he didn't make a move at the River of Ecstasy. He didn't make a move at the Temple of Blood's territory. He didn't make a move at the Land of Chaos. It was only when he was about to step foot on Cloud Heaven City's soil that he suddenly appeared. That's right. This was his style of doing things. He would let you go to heaven first and then throw you down to hell. Yang Dingtian looked at the demonic face and the mocking gaze. He couldn't help but say, Temple Master Dugu, if I didn't guess wrongly, you gave me two choices. Back then, when you gave me two choices, you knew that I wouldn't fight with the mystic martial master and would choose to escape. That's right, Dugu Xiao said. As for the first choice, the second choice would be the same. You would choose to escape. To talk about honor with a person like me who speaks without thinking, it isn't noble but foolish. You aren't so pedantic that you can't be saved. Yang Dingtian said, you knew that I was going to escape, so you took the opportunity to let me go. You waited until I was about to reach home before stopping me to make me despair. That's right. This is your style of doing things. However, isn't the price too high? You sacrificed more than 10 loyal Bat Blood guards just to torture and toy with me. Who asked you to win against me before? The feeling of meeting a worthy opponent is very satisfying. Of course, I had to have fun. Dugu Xiao said, I expected that you would want to escape, but I really wanted to know. How did you escape from more than 10 Bat Blood guards? What I didn't expect was that you did it so effortlessly. You used the Fire Demon Violent Lion to smash my Bat Blood guards into meat paste. My guess was right. When you left the 10,000 blood pool, the reason why you weren't killed by the Fire Demon Violent Lion wasn't because of the 10,000 blood token, but because of other reasons. What was the reason that the Fire Demon Violent Lion didn't kill you and was even a little afraid of you? Yang Dingtian's mind immediately thought of that teardrop ornament. Say it, otherwise I will cripple your profound veins and explode your qi si. Dugu Xiao said, to you, this should be something more terrifying than death. Yang Dingtian's body trembled. That's right. To Yang Dingtian, this was more painful than death. Furthermore, Dugu Xiao was a demon and would definitely do what he said. The Fire Demon Violent Lion was a powerful Grandmaster level demonic beast, but after seeing the teardrop ornament, it was scared out of its wits. It was certain that this teardrop ornament would definitely be a huge shock to the Temple of 10,000 Bloods Master, Dugu Xiao. As long as Yang Dingtian took it out, he would definitely be safe and sound. He had this confidence and feeling. Yang Dingtian spread out his hands and shrugged his shoulders, indicating that he had nothing to say. So you're not going to say it? Dugu Xiao asked. Yang Dingtian nodded. Dugu Xiao immediately raised his palm and placed it on Yang Dingtian's shoulder. He only needed 1/10, 1/100th of his profound qi to release it slightly. Yang Dingtian's qi si would explode and his profound veins would be destroyed. He would become a complete cripple. Whatever mission, whatever dream, everything would be gone. This might be Yang Dingtian's most dangerous moment, so his body was trembling. I thought you wouldn't be afraid. Dugu Xiao said. Of course I will be afraid. Yang Dingtian said, it's just that I won't let my fear defeat my courage. Dugu Xiao sneered and said, so you're not going to say it? Yang Dingtian nodded. His attitude might be casual, but his heart was extremely determined. Alright, if you don't want to say it, then so be it. Everyone has the right to keep secrets. Dugu Xiao said and immediately removed his palm from Yang Dingtian's shoulder. This meant that he wasn't going to destroy Yang Dingtian. Instantly, Yang Dingtian was slightly stunned. What was going on with this great demon? What kind of show was he putting on now? Earlier on, if he didn't say it, he was going to completely destroy Yang Dingtian's duel. It was completely non-negotiable. Now, he was letting him off so easily. What was this great demon trying to do? Immediately after, Dugu Xiao said, oh right, when you were cultivating in the blood pool, you met Dugu Fengwu, right? Yang Dingtian nodded. And she was completely naked? Dugu Xiao asked again. Yang Dingtian nodded. However, you didn't take the opportunity to sully her, right? Dugu Xiao said, I took her pulse, and she is still pure and flawless. Yang Dingtian instantly let out a long breath of relief and said, Many thanks to Senior for clearing my name. Don't be in a hurry to thank me. Dugu Xiao said, I told Dugu Fengwu this. I said, Feng, don't be upset. Even though Yang Dingtian, this bastard, took the opportunity to sully you, you will always be pure in father's heart. Feng expressed that she was very angry and wanted to immediately rush out from the bed to tear you into pieces. However, she was disturbed by you when she was cultivating, and her mystic meridians were damaged and needed to be nursed back to health. She will probably recover in a few months to half a year. The first day after she comes out of seclusion, she will leave the Temple of Blood to kill you. Therefore, you have to be careful then. Ah! Yang Dingtian instantly widened his eyes and glared at Dugu Xiao. You! How can you say that to her? We are evenly matched, but you are a small character, and I can't kill you or keep an eye on you all the time. However, you have defeated me before, so I can't let you be comfortable. Therefore, I found an even more difficult opponent for you. Dugu Xiao said, Of course, Dugu Fengwu's innate talent is too high, and she is a little too arrogant. It is inevitable that she considers everyone else beneath her. I need to find an opponent for her. Dongfang Bingling is too far away, and since you are here, I can make use of this opportunity. Yang Dingtian instantly gnashed his teeth with hatred. This great demon, you are going to torture me to the point where I wish I was dead. Yang Dingtian shuddered at the thought of facing a woman who was obsessed with hatred and had heaven-defying martial arts. How was Dugu Fengwu's cultivation? How was her heart? Yang Dingtian was the clearest. She could kill people like killing chickens. Following which, Dugu Xiao laughed and said, All right, you are on your own now. I am going to take my leave. You are going to leave just like that? Yang Dingtian was astonished. This great demon had tortured Yang Dingtian countless times. This time, she had obstructed him on the way back to Cloud Heaven City, causing his heart to fall into a bottomless abyss. Yang Dingtian had already prepared himself for the most painful things, but he didn't expect the other party to let him off so easily. Dugu Xiao really turned and left, heading towards the northeast direction of the Temple of Blood. Halfway through, he turned back and said to Yang Dingtian, Your breakthrough in the blood pool is truly astonishing. If I didn't remember wrongly, the highest breakthrough in the blood pool in history was only 2 grades. However, you broke through 4 grades. It is truly astonishing. Therefore, when I saw you again in Dugu Aoshuang's bridal chamber, I was so shocked that I was speechless. Senior is overpraising me, Yang Dingtian replied. However, if you were to duel with Qin Xiaobai with your current cultivation, you would still die. You are definitely not a match for him. Dugu Xiao said, This is a little fox and a little venomous snake. He is better at hiding his strength than you can imagine. He is even stronger than you can imagine. I have calculated that if you were to duel with him, you would only be able to withstand 4 moves at most. After that, you would instantly collapse and die. Yang Dingtian's face twitched. He wanted to say something ruthless, but it was obvious that Dugu Xiao wasn't someone who spoke without thinking. However, he still believed that there was a way. I have a cultivation technique that can allow you to turn defeat into victory. Dugu Xiao said, This cultivation technique is called the Evil Soul Art. That's right. Just from the name, you can tell that it is very evil. It can allow you to turn defeat into victory. Evil Soul Art. Instantly, Yang Dingtian's entire body shivered. That's right. This was one of the most evil cultivation techniques in the world. Furthermore, there was a story behind this cultivation technique. 200 years ago, the Wooden Sword Castle's young master Li Tianxiao and the Northwest Qin clan's 3rd young master had a trial by duel because of a bloody case. Li Tianxiao was a romantic and did not put much effort into cultivating martial arts. Therefore, his cultivation was 10 levels lower than the Qin clan's third young master. Everyone thought that Li Tianxiao would definitely die in this trial by duel. However, when the duel happened, the result blinded everyone's eyes. Li Tianxiao won, and he even instantly killed the Qin clan's third young master. Everyone was completely shocked. They couldn't believe their eyes. This battle made Li Tianxiao famous under the heavens. After that, Li Tianxiao's cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. He went from an unremarkable hedonistic young master to an expert that shocked the world. How did he suddenly become so powerful and terrifying, instantly killing an opponent that was 10 levels higher than him? The reason was the Evil Soul Art. Evil Ways of the Supreme Treasure Manual, the Evil Soul Art. It could be said that as long as one grasped the Evil Soul Art, a weak person would be able to instantly kill an opponent that was 10 times stronger than him as long as he had enough puppet battle souls. The Evil Soul Art was split into the Soul Assimilating Art and the Soul Burst Art. The Soul Assimilating Art was to extract an expert's spirit and refine it into a powerful puppet battle soul. After refining it, it would be stored in a special soul tool. The Soul Burst Art was to wait until the most dangerous moment of the battle and use the puppet battle soul in one's own profound chi to attack. In an instant, the power was boundless and it could instantly kill the opponent. This sounded similar to refining a martial spirit. However, it was completely different. Refining a martial spirit was to use a powerful demonic beast's battle soul to refine it for one's own use. Furthermore, this battle soul was permanent. As for the Evil Soul Art, it was to use an evil technique or medicine to control an expert before using the Soul Assimilating Art to extract his spirit from his body. From then on, that person would become a walking corpse. Furthermore, every puppet battle soul that was extracted could only be used once. In other words, every time the Evil Soul Art attacked once. This meant that an expert's spirit had been extracted and he had become a walking corpse. Hence, this was the most terrifying waste. It was so evil that it made one's hair stand on end. Of course, it was also so powerful that it made one's hair stand on end. Among the evil techniques ranked by the Taekwondo League, the Evil Soul Art was one of the best. As long as you learn this technique, you can kill Qin Xiaobai, save Shimen Yanyan, and save Cloud Heaven City. Du Guxiao said, "How about it? Beg me, and I'll teach you." "Sorry, I'm not interested in this at all." Yang Dingtian said coldly and turned to leave. Yang Dingtian absolutely hated this kind of evil technique. This technique was even more evil and cruel than the yin-yang devour Xian technique. Once one was infected with this kind of evil technique, half of one's cultivation would be destroyed. In this world, any shortcut had a price. Yang Dingtian even rejected something as good as the yin-yang devour Xian technique, let alone this evil soul art. This technique is coveted by countless people. You don't want it? Du Guxiao said, "However, I won't give it to others. If you don't want it, I'll force it to you." After saying that, Yang Dingtian's body flew backward and was directly sucked in front of Du Guxiao. Then, Du Guxiao pressed his palm on Yang Dingtian's head and silently chanted a mysterious evil chant. Boom! Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's brain seemed to be forcefully opened. An incomparably powerful energy drilled into his brain and into his body. The Evil Soul Arts technique route, profound chi circulation method, and the cultivation chant. Every word, every picture, every scene, was forcefully poured into Yang Dingtian's brain. Don't. Yang Dingtian screamed fiercely and struggled desperately. But it was completely useless. Under Du Guxiao's palm, this evil technique continuously forced its way into Yang Dingtian's body. Every word seemed to be engraved in his brain, incomparably clear and incomparably deep. Yang Dingtian used all of his energy, all of his will, all of his spirit to resist, repel, and fight. Suddenly, the two energies and wills crazily fought in Yang Dingtian's mind. In an instant, Yang Dingtian's face was twisted in incomparable pain. Blood flowed from his 7 orifices and tendons popped up. It was as if his body was going to explode and die at any time. However, Yang Dingtian tried his best but still couldn't resist Dugu Zhao's evil technique completely planted in the depths of Yang Dingtian's mind. Countless energy and countless information fiercely drilled into the depths of Yang Dingtian's mind. After a full 10 minutes, Dugu Zhao's palm loosened and Yang Dingtian immediately fell to the ground. The entire contents of the evil soul art, the deepest principles, and even Dugu Zhao's unique understanding of the evil soul art were all deeply engraved in the depths of Yang Dingtian's mind. They could never be erased. This evil soul art was even more profound and powerful than the one Li Tianshao grasped in the past. Note, the second 5,000 words have been delivered. There will be a third. There are only 0 votes today, can we not be like this? Tears streamed down his face. Chapter 117. Yang Dingtian suddenly pounded his head with all his might and then used his head to knock against the sturdy stone railings of the bridge. Quickly get out, quickly get out. Quickly forget it, he pounded his head with all his might, wanting to completely erase this evil martial technique from his mind. However, this was impossible. Dugu Zhao had engraved this evil martial technique into the deepest part of Yang Dingtian's mind. It was at the same level as Shimen Wuya and Dongfang Minmi, and at the same level as the duel 5 years later. This meant that if Yang Dingtian wanted to forget this evil martial technique, he would have to forget Shimen Wuya, Dongfang Minmi, and his own mission. Very soon, Yang Dingtian's head was badly battered and bleeding. However, that evil martial technique was still extremely clear in his mind. Dugu Zhao was a devil. This was definitely a devil. You want to destroy me, Yang Dingtian shouted out loudly to Dugu Zhao, you might as well kill me. Destroy you? Dugu Zhao laughed coldly and said, in the future, you might not even have the time to thank me. Be careful, don't get too addicted. Following that, Dugu Zhao pointed to the 8 Taekwondo League experts and said, these are the bodyguards you hired. When I took action against you, they didn't even dare to get close. What kind of bullshit Taekwondo League is this? Immediately, the martial ancestor realm expert from the Taekwondo League said with a displeased expression, Sir, please be careful with your words. The influence behind me is something you can't imagine. Be careful not to get yourself into trouble. My name is Dugu Zhao, the Temple of 10,000 Bloods Master, the leader of the evil ways, Dugu Zhao suddenly said. In that instant, the countenances of the 8 Taekwondo League experts changed drastically. Although they could sense that this expert's cultivation was rare in the world, they would never have thought that he was actually Dugu Zhao. As experts of the evil ways, once they stepped out of the evil ways territory, even if they were to enter the neutral fringe, it would be considered an official declaration of war against the major sections. The Taekwondo League would once again form an alliance to suppress them. Who would have thought that as the leader of the evil ways, not only would he enter the fringe, but he would also step into the territory of a prestigious sect? Dugu Zhao directly called out his name, which meant that he wanted to kill him. What do you want to do? Think about the consequences. We have the Taekwondo League and the Yin Yang School behind us, the Taekwondo League Wuzong said coldly. Yin Yang School. Dugu Zhao sneered and said, Dongfang Minmi is no longer here. Dongfang Bingling is a genius. In 20 or 30 years, she will be #1 in the world. She might even be able to step into the unprecedented half-saint realm. However, she is still young. Therefore, no one in the Yin Yang School is a match for me. Zhu Qingzhu has ulterior motives, the Yin sect hides from the world, and Shimen Wuya died early. Who else in the world do I fear? You want to use the Yin Yang School to scare me? Dugu Zhao laughed as he left. His steps were slow, but his walking speed was very fast. In the blink of an eye, he passed by the 8 Taekwondo League experts and walked 100 meters away. The 8 of them raised their swords as if they were facing a great enemy, waiting for Dugu Xiao's killing move. However, he just passed by them without any movement. Was he going to let them go just like that? Heh, Tiando League. Dugu Xiao shrugged his shoulders. Suddenly, an incomparably powerful energy burst out from Dugu Xiao's shoulder like a nuclear explosion. This was an invisible energy that couldn't be seen or touched. It was like a gust of wind. PFFF, instantly, the 8 experts of the Heavenly Tao Union were frozen in place. They couldn't move at all. Even moving their fingers was difficult. However, they were still alive. This is my gift to you. 8 fresh and hot puppet war souls. Their cultivation isn't damaged at all, but they can't move at all. You can refine them with the soul assimilation art. This ring is the best soul item that Li Tianxiao used in the past. I'm giving it to you. I hope that you can become the second Li Tianxiao in the future. Dugu Xiao said while walking, but you have to hurry because these 8 people will turn into ashes in less than an hour. Suddenly, a simple and unadorned ring flew towards Yang Dingtian. I don't need it. I won't use fresh lives in exchange for my strength. Moreover, it's fake strength. Yang Dingtian roared at Dugu Xiao before dodging the ring. Perhaps it was a peerless treasure, but Yang Dingtian didn't want it. You're still so hypocritical. What? You can't bear it anymore? Fine, I'll turn them all into zombies. They'll become walking corpses that have martial strength but no intelligence. Then you can take their martial souls with a clear conscience, right? Dugu Xiao said. Then, he swung the thin sword in his hand. Suddenly, the 8 Tiando League experts felt their heads shake. In an instant, the 8 pairs of eyes that were full of vitality disappeared. They became dull and lifeless. Just as Dugu Xiao had said, he had spared the lives of the 8 of them, but he had destroyed their minds. Remember, you have an hour to refine their martial souls. Otherwise, you will die under Qin Xiaobai's sword. Just wait for your Shiman Yan Yan and Madame Shiman to be ravaged and sullied by him. Dugu Xiao laughed heartily before vanishing in front of Yang Dingtian's eyes. Devil, this is a devil. Yang Dingtian looked at Dugu Xiao's disappearing back view. Ever since he came to this world, he didn't regret anything he did. However, he really couldn't say if he regretted going to the Temple of Blood. If he didn't go to the Temple of Blood, he wouldn't have offended a devil like Dugu Xiao. Yang Dingtian might have successfully broken through to Class 3 in the blood pool, but he had attracted Dugu Fengwu's extreme hatred. Once she came out of seclusion, she would definitely not let him off. Moreover, the most direct consequence was that the 8 experts of the Heavenly Tao Union would be killed right before his eyes. Dugu Xiao, one day, I will destroy your evil soul. Yang Dingtian slowly stood up from the ground and wiped off the blood on his face. He then walked over to the 8 Tiando League experts, who were now walking corpses. Of course, he wasn't going to refine their martial souls. He was going to confirm if they could still be saved. After taking a careful look at each of them, he gave them high-grade elixirs. There was no use at all. They were completely hopeless. Everyone's intelligence, brain, willpower, and everything else had been destroyed and irreversibly damaged. All that was left of them was their bodies, normal mystic meridians, and vigorous spirit sea. They were the best puppet battle souls. As long as he collected these puppet battle souls, it would be easy to kill Qin Xiaobai. I won't use it. No matter how strong your evil soul art is, I won't touch it at all. Otherwise, I will be completely destroyed. Yang Dingtian said coldly, you said that I am definitely not Qin Xiaobai's match. You said that I can't even withstand 4 moves from him. I don't believe it. I want to try. Then, Yang Dingtian bowed to the 8 Tiando League experts and said, I'm sorry that you lost your lives because you were escorting me. I'm sorry that I can't save you, but I promise that you will leave this world in one piece. Your martial souls won't be stolen. After saying that, Yang Dingtian jumped onto his riding beast and ran towards Cloud Heaven City. Suddenly, he realized that when Dugu Shao used his invisible energy to destroy the 8 Taekwondo League experts, the 8 riding beasts were safe and sound. What a powerful Dugu Shao! Let's go! Yang Dingtian shook the reins and quickly crossed the stone bridge. He stepped into Cloud Heaven City's territory and rushed towards Cloud Heaven City as fast as he could. Pooh! The moment Yang Dingtian left the stone bridge, the 8 Taekwondo League experts whose minds had been destroyed instantly turned into ashes. Their bodies turned into ashes inch by inch. A gust of wind blew and the 8 of them turned into ashes, scattering all over the ground. What was even more strange was that the ancient soul tool seemed to have a life of its own. It quickly chased after Yang Dingtian. Wherever Yang Dingtian went, it would go. If Yang Dingtian was fast, it would be fast. If Yang Dingtian was slow, it would be slow. It was as if it wasn't a ring, but a life with a soul. Yang Dingtian suddenly turned around and grabbed the ring. He coldly said, "I want to see what kind of weird tricks you have." The moment he grabbed the ancient ring, Yang Dingtian heard a mournful shriek. It was like the cry of a vengeful spirit from the depths of hell. It was also like the cruel shriek of a devil. At the same time, Yang Dingtian felt a chill run down his spine. The temperature around him seemed to have dropped by several degrees. A soul tool that specialized in collecting the souls of puppets was indeed an item of extreme and evil. Yang Dingtian had just grabbed the ring for a moment when he couldn't help but shiver from the cold. At this moment, Dugu Zhao's voice once again sounded in Yang Dingtian's ears. "You are indeed very hypocritical. You allowed the 8 powerful souls of the Taekwondo League to be destroyed without refining them. However, I had already expected this, so I placed a powerful puppet soul in this soul tool ring." Dugu Shao had clearly left, so why was there still his voice? Yang Dingtian couldn't help but look around. "No need to look, I'm already very far away from you." Dugu Shao said, "I'll be frank with you. You are definitely not Qin Xiaobai's opponent. If you want to turn defeat into victory, you can only use the evil soul arts. Maybe you are stubbornly saying that you don't want to use it now, but when it is a matter of life and death, you will definitely use the evil soul arts. I know the ugliness of human nature too well. Remember, when you decide to use it, you just need to sense the soul in the soul tool ring and use the soul burst art. Against an opponent like Qin Xiaobai, you will definitely be able to kill him in an instant. Of course, once you use the evil soul arts, the evil attribute in the soul tool will be planted in the depths of your soul. You will never be able to wash it off in this lifetime." Yang Dingtian sneered, "Palace Master Dugu is thinking too much. I definitely won't use your soul tool, and I definitely won't use your evil soul arts." Dugu Shao sneered, "Wait until you are about to be killed by Qin Xiaobai, then you can say these words. Remember my words, you will definitely use it. Otherwise, you will definitely die. Yang Dingtian, you will definitely use the evil soul arts. I know the ugliness of human nature too well." Ha 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 ha, ha ha ha. Finally, Dugu Zhao's insolent mocking voice completely disappeared. "I definitely won't use the evil soul arts." Yang Dingtian muttered to himself. Then, he clenched the evil soul tool ring in his hand. Suddenly, a ghost-like howl echoed in his ears. The powerful soul puppet inside the ring seemed like it was about to ferociously rush out. Not to mention using this kind of ring, even if it was left on the body for a long time, it would be soaked in evil. "I want to see how you can cause trouble." Yang Dingtian sneered. Then, he directly threw the soul tool ring into his spatial ring. In an instant, the evil and cold energy of the soul tool ring disappeared without a trace. It was as if it had completely disappeared from this world. Yang Dingtian continued to charge towards Cloud Heaven City. When he crossed the bridge, Yang Dingtian discovered a few corpses lying on the ground. They didn't have any injuries on their bodies. Their faces revealed extremely shocked expressions. They seemed familiar. They were people from Cloud Heaven City. He didn't know why they died here. However, Yang Dingtian didn't care about these things at this moment. He directly charged over. There was less than half an hour until the final moment of the trial by duel. However, the tens of thousands of spectators were already completely impatient. They were already scolding and ridiculing, and their words were getting more and more unbearable. As for the forces of Black Blood Castle that supported Yang Dingtian, their morale was already extremely low. I already said that Yang Dingtian definitely wouldn't dare to come. He knows that as long as he comes, he will definitely die. Oh my god, it seems like Yang Dingtian really did break through because of Madame Shimen. He swallowed and stole her celestial qi. Otherwise, he would still be a useless martial arts beginner. Yang Dingtian is really a beast. City Lord Shimen is a hero, but he is really blind. Madame Shimen looks quite decent. Why did she cheat on her husband after he left for only a month? And it's with her own son-in-law. This woman is really too shameless. However, she is so beautiful. She really benefited Yang Dingtian. Hearing all kinds of insults, Madame Shimen was on the verge of collapsing. Her vision turned dark and she was about to faint at any moment. The shameless rumor that Qin Xiaobai spread completely destroyed her reputation in just a few days. It also destroyed her spirit. In just a few days, her cultivation had regressed by close to 10 years. Her body had lost close to 5 kilograms. At this moment, hearing the countless vicious attacks, she really wanted to jump down from the city wall and die in front of everyone to prove her innocence. Hearing the countless vicious attacks, Yan Shimen was so angry that her entire body trembled. She clenched her teeth and bled. She looked at Qin Xiaobai with eyes filled with endless hatred. Qin Xiaobai, whose clothes were whiter than snow, looked at the sun in the sky and then looked at Yan Shimen. He slowly said, "Big sister Yan, Yang Dingtian won't be coming. You will soon be punished even more. You will receive the 10,000 devouring punishment." The 10,000 devouring punishment was to tie a person to the highest point of Cloud Sky Mountain, allowing countless scavenger vultures to devour the person alive. The flesh on the person's body would be eaten piece by these beasts' sharp beaks. This was practically the highest punishment in Cloud Sky City. Do you want to live? Beg me. I am a very easy person to talk to. Qin Xiaobai smiled. Yan Shimen turned a deaf ear to him and only looked in the direction of the eastern city gate. Facing death with equanimity. Qin Xiaobai sneered. Then afternoon, how about we immediately publicly judge your mother's crimes? In front of tens of thousands of people? How does Cloud Sky City punish adultery? She will be paraded for 3 days and then drowned in lava. And in her situation, she will be punished even more. Do you want your mother to suffer such humiliation? Instantly, Yan Shimen's delicate body trembled. Her beautiful eyes suddenly looked at Qin Xiaobai. If you don't want her to suffer such a terrible fate, then beg me. I am very soft-hearted. If you beg me, I will agree. Qin Xiaobai's eyes greedily looked at Yan Shimen's beautiful face. Who knew that Yan Shimen sneered and said, "At most, I will die. I can't wait for Yang Dingtian to not come. If he doesn't come today, he will definitely come back in the future. Maybe a year, maybe 3 years. When he comes back, it will be the day of your death." Stupid woman. Qin Xiaobai sneered. Can't I use your mother to threaten you? Then I will try to use you to threaten your mother. Madame Shimen, the #1 beauty in the Northwest continent. This junior has admired you for a long time. At this moment, there was still half an hour before the deadline of the duel, but Qin Xiaobai already couldn't wait. He looked at the sun in the sky and slowly walked to the center of the high platform. He loudly said, "The final moment of the trial by duel is coming soon. If Yang Dingtian still doesn't appear, it will be considered a failure. Yan Shimen has been convicted of murder and her crimes will be increased by another level. Cloud Sky City has issued a 10,000-mile kill order for Yang Dingtian. No matter where he is, his life will be taken. Any warrior who brings Yang Dingtian's head back to Cloud Sky City will immediately receive a shocking reward. Bang! Suddenly, the city gate was slammed open from the outside. Yang Dingtian, dressed in a red robe, rode on a huge riding beast and slammed open the half-closed city gate. He directly rushed in. Instantly, the entire plaza fell into silence. Immediately after, everyone stood up and looked at Yang Dingtian one after another. Everyone thought that Yang Dingtian wouldn't come. Seeing Yang Dingtian's arrival, Shimen Yanyan's beautiful eyes shot out an unprecedented radiance. Then, her delicate body went soft and was about to collapse. Madame Shimen's eyes flashed and she fainted. Shimen Ningning quickly went up to support her. While supporting Madame Shimen, Ningning's gaze followed Yang Dingtian's figure as tears welled up in her eyes. He finally came back safe and sound. He came back from the devil's den in the Temple of Blood. Yang Yan looked at Yang Dingtian's figure and was momentarily stunned. He then sneered and said, "This fool really came to court death." Shimen Lai finally let go of his huge sword and said softly, "Yang Dingtian, you really came? But it's good that you came." Shimen Ju's expression suddenly changed. He looked at Yang Dingtian's figure and revealed a complicated expression. At the same time, the morale of the Black Blood Castle's forces was greatly boosted as they let out a series of majestic cheers. Yang Dingtian rushed to the center of the arena and got off his riding beast. He suddenly pulled out his night owl huge sword and pointed it at Qin Shaobai. He said, "Come down." Qin Shaobai smiled and said, "I didn't expect that you really came to court death." Then, his body shook slightly, and he instantly floated down from the stage and landed in front of Yang Dingtian. It was as if his entire body was weightless. "Yang Dingtian, many things happened when you weren't around." Qin Shaobai smiled and said, "Enough of the idle talk. Draw your sword." Yang Dingtian said coldly. "No hurry." Qin Shaobai smiled and said, "You don't have to be in such a hurry to die. Before you die, let's talk about your funeral. Your wife, your mother-in-law, what should you do? I am very willing to take on the heavy responsibility of taking care of them. You just have to take good care of your mother." Yang Dingtian said, "Also, when you are fooling around in the wilderness, you have to find a more secretive place. Otherwise, if you are encountered again, it will be difficult to find the person who wants to kill you to silence you." Once these words were said, Qin Shaobai's expression changed drastically. His body shook, and his eyes revealed an incomparably vicious and fearful radiance. He looked at Yang Dingtian and said coldly, "Do you know? Because of what you said, countless people will be killed. Everyone who is related to you, even if it's just a little bit, will be killed by the Northwest Qin clan." Yang Dingtian sneered and said, "Anyway, it's either you or I who will die today. It doesn't matter. So, put away your smart-ass act and start the massacre. Yang Dingtian, you are already dead today. Shimen, Yan, and the others can live, but now they can't either. Everyone who is related to you must die." Qin Shaobai said coldly and viciously. Then, he slowly pulled out his sword. It was an incomparably sharp bloody black gold sword with powerful Xian Qi. That's right, it was the bloody black gold sword. The sharp sword in Qin Shaobai's hand shook violently, and suddenly it let out a thunderous roar. A mist-like red flame suddenly rose from the sword, and the entire sharp blade burned fiercely. Before the battle started, an incomparably powerful energy spread out, causing people to tremble in fear. The Primal Chaos Destroyer sword was Cloud Sky City's unique consummate skill. The first city lord, Yang Yunshao, used the Primal Chaos Destroyer sword to become one of the 9 martial saints in the world for 1,000 years. Therefore, it could be said that the Primal Chaos Destroyer sword was almost the representative of Cloud Sky City. Yang Dingtian also slowly pulled out his sharp sword. The ugly and strange night owl giant blade was like a twisted piece of iron. Just its appearance alone was like heaven and earth compared to Qin Shaobai's bloody black gold sword. Yang Dingtian, I will kill you within 5 moves, like slaughtering a pig or a dog. If I can't take your life within 5 moves, it will be my loss. How about it? Qin Shaobai said loudly. His voice was like thunder, resounding through the entire square. Suddenly, everyone was shocked. Qin Shaobai's words ignited everyone's blood. He must kill Yang Dingtian within 5 moves, or it would be his loss. How bold, how confident. Yang Yan looked up at the sun. At this moment, the 2 suns were hanging in the sky. Time's up. Let's fight. Yang Yan raised a huge sword and fiercely smashed it on the city wall. With a loud sound, the huge sword shattered into pieces, and countless fragments scattered below the city wall. Primal Chaos Destroyer Sword, First Sword, Sword against the heavens. Qin Shaobai waved the burning bloody black gold sword and fiercely jumped into the air, slashing down at Yang Dingtian. The burning bloody black gold sword suddenly turned into a few dozen feet long blue sword light. It was as if it could split the mountains and split the sea, slashing down at Yang Dingtian's head. Note, thank you, please. Chapter 119. The burning bloody black gold sword turned into a blue sword ray that was several meters long. It slashed towards Yang Dingtian's head as if it could split mountains and seas. Wow, this is the energy of a 9-star mystic martial warrior. That's right, from the length and color of the sword ray, it was obvious that Qin Shaobai was using the energy of a 9-star mystic martial warrior. If Yang Dingtian hadn't broken through to mystic martial warrior and was still a 9-star mystic martial warrior, this move would have turned him into ashes. Pig-slaying swordsmanship, split in 2. Bang! Yang Dingtian held the sword with both hands and leaped into the air, using the 7th move of the pig-slaying swordsmanship. After injecting his mystic chi, the Night Owl Greatsword extended a 2-meter-long sword ray and slashed upwards. Yang Dingtian really did break through. It's actually the sword ray of a beginner mystic martial warrior. Everyone was in an uproar. They didn't expect Yang Dingtian to break through to mystic martial warrior in just a few days. Boom! The 2 sword rays collided. A dazzling light burst out in the air, and the dust on the ground shook. Qin Shaobai landed lightly on the ground. After Yang Dingtian landed, he took 4 steps back and spat out a mouthful of blood. It was clear who won in the first move. Qin Shaobai looked coldly at Yang Dingtian. I didn't expect you to break through to mystic martial warrior. It's really shocking. It's only been a few days. Yang Dingtian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and smiled coldly. He didn't respond. But, so what? Qin Shaobai raised his head and sneered. It's only the first move, and you spat out blood. What are you going to do next? You don't think I'm just a 9-star mystic martial warrior, do you? Then, Qin Shaobai raised the bloody black gold sword again and injected his mystic chi. Boom! The bloody black gold sword burned fiercely again. Qin Shaobai stood in place and aimed at Yang Dingtian's waist and slashed. Swish! A 4-meter-long yellow sword ray. Primal Chaos Annihilating Sword, the 2nd move, Heaven and Earth Annihilation. Wow! This is the sword aura of a black martial master. Immediately, everyone stood up and looked at Qin Shaobai in shock. Shiman Yan Yan and Ningning exclaimed almost at the same time. Qin Shaobai, this viper really concealed his strength, he really broke through to black martial master. If Qin Shaobai was only a mystic martial warrior, even if it was a 9-star mystic martial warrior, then Yang Dingtian would still have the power to fight. However, Qin Shaobai was indeed a mystic martial master, so there was practically no need to fight. Fighting someone of a higher rank was truly a death sentence. It was as if everyone could see Yang Dingtian being cut in half at the waist. Pig-slaying swordsmanship, sword into the chopping board, ah. With a loud roar, the night owl greatsword in Yang Dingtian's hand abruptly elongated to 20 feet long and stabbed into the ground, intercepting Qin Xiaobai's lightning-fast sword light. Boom! There was a loud noise. Qin Xiaobai's sword light fiercely chopped onto the night owl greatsword, bursting out a dazzling light. The center of the plaza suddenly exploded. Huge rocks flew everywhere and the soil was overturned. The place where the two sword auras collided was directly blown into a deep pit with a diameter of several feet. As for Yang Dingtian, he flew out like a piece of straw. He stabbed the night owl greatsword into the ground, wanting to stop his body from flying out. The greatsword cut through the ground of the plaza, cutting through the hard stones and bursting out a string of sparks. 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, after a total of 35 meters, Yang Dingtian finally managed to stop his rapid retreat. The entire plaza had a 35-meter-long deep fissure cut open by him. PFFF. After stopping his retreat, blood spurted out from his nose and mouth like a rain of arrows. Yang Dingtian's face was completely bloodless like golden paper. However, he still didn't die. Everyone cried out in shock. In the second move, Yang Dingtian displayed the strength of a 3-star mystic martial warrior. Yang Dingtian was actually a 3-star mystic martial warrior. How was this possible? In just a few days, he actually broke through 4 levels. This was really too terrifying. Instantly, the rumors about Yang Dingtian and Madame Shimen, the rumors about Yang Dingtian using the profound devouring great technique to break through, had already turned into ashes. But even so, Yang Dingtian should still be dead without a doubt. A 3-star mystic martial warrior against a mystic martial master, fighting across levels, would definitely result in death. But why didn't Yang Dingtian die? Of course, it's because of Yang Dingtian's 9 Yang profound veins. Back then at Yin Yang School, Yang Dingtian was only an initiate. He didn't die even after receiving Zhu Hongshue's shocking attack. Under Shimen Wuya's infusion of profound qi and treatment, he still woke up and completely recovered. Therefore, even though Yang Dingtian was only a low-level mystic martial warrior, his profound veins' ability to resist attacks was already extremely strong. If Qin Xiaobai's powerful profound qi hit someone else, their meridians might be instantly destroyed and their entire body would turn into a pile of mush. But to Yang Dingtian, his profound veins were only slightly damaged. In the previous attack, Yan Shimen immediately closed her eyes, not daring to look. She was afraid that she would see Yang Dingtian's blood splattered on the spot. She only dared to open her eyes when she heard everyone's shocked voices. She saw that Yang Dingtian was still alive, even though he was half-kneeling on the ground without any blood on his face. Her heart was relieved and sad, and she almost fainted. Yang Dingtian supported himself with the night owl greatsword and struggled to stand up. He said to Qin Xiaobai, "Is this all you've got? You can't kill me. You said before, if you can't kill me within 5 moves, you lose." Right now, Qin Xiaobai's face was filled with shock. It wasn't because Yang Dingtian displayed the strength of a 3-star mystic martial warrior, even though this was already shocking enough. What shocked him was that the strength of a mystic martial master was actually unable to kill a mystic martial warrior. Previously, in order to boost morale, he said in front of 10,000 people that he would definitely kill Yang Dingtian within 5 moves. If Yang Dingtian didn't die within 5 moves, then it would be his, Qin Xiaobai's, loss, and Shimen Yan Shimen would be considered innocent. Qin Xiaobai was filled with absolute confidence when he said those words. In reality, he had absolute confidence that he would be able to kill Yang Dingtian in the second move. Saying that it would be 5 moves was already a lot more relaxed. But he didn't expect that Yang Dingtian wouldn't die after the second move. Instantly, Qin Xiaobai couldn't help but feel some regret. After hearing Yang Dingtian's words, Qin Xiaobai said coldly, "What's the rush? It's only the second move. There are still 3 more moves. You've already lost half of your life. I want to see how you're going to defend against my third move." Once these words were said, Yang Yan and the others immediately relaxed. They were shocked because Yang Dingtian didn't die after the second move. They didn't expect that Yang Dingtian only had half of his life left. Qin Xiaobai's following moves would definitely be stronger than the previous one. Yang Dingtian definitely wouldn't be able to defend against them. He might even die in the third move. Primal Chaos Exterminating Sword, third move, Sun and Moon Decay. Qin Xiaobai roared loudly and shot into the air like a meteor. The bloody black gold sword in his hand danced. The sword suddenly shot out a dazzling sword light that was 13 feet long. The light danced in the air and emitted a dazzling brilliance that almost blocked the light of the two suns. Die, Yang Dingtian, the brilliance reached its peak. Qin Xiaobai's body once again shot towards Yang Dingtian like a meteor. The sword light in his hand spun crazily, forming a death whirlpool that swept towards Yang Dingtian's body. In an instant, the area around Yang Dingtian was engulfed by the sword light, and his figure instantly vanished. Such a huge sword light devouring formation made it impossible for people to dodge. Seeing Yang Dingtian's body completely engulfed and disappeared without a trace, Qin Xiaobai revealed a sinister smile and said, "Let's see if you're still not dead now." Yang Yan let out a long sigh of relief and sneered, "Yang Dingtian is finally dead." Shiman Yanyan let out a miserable cry and spat out a mouthful of blood. Shiman Ningning's face was pale as she muttered to herself, "Little Tian, sister believes you, sister believes you." However, the sword light devouring formation was getting smaller and smaller. Shiman Ningning's body gradually became colder and colder, and the hatred and killing intent in her eyes became stronger and stronger. What mission? What mission? I don't care about any of it. As long as Yang Dingtian dies, then everyone here will die with him. Tens of thousands of people will die with him. Shiman Ningning spat out cold and bloodthirsty words. Then, a green light shot out from her eyes. Her hands danced in her sleeves, and a terrifying green light began to spread out from her body. We'll die together. Everyone will be buried with Yang Dingtian, including me. Immediately, an incomparably poisonous and powerful green energy was about to burst out from Ningning's body. At the same time, Mrs. Shiman suddenly pulled out her sharp sword, circulated her profound qi, and was about to rush down. However, just as she circulated her profound qi, she immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. Her entire body collapsed, and she collapsed back to her seat. Bang! Suddenly, a white light pierced through Qin Xiaobai's sword light devouring formation and flew dozens of meters into the sky. Then, it suddenly landed on the ground, shattering dozens of huge rocks on the ground. Yang Dingtian had broken through Qin Xiaobai's sword formation. After Yang Dingtian landed on the ground, the clothes on his body were almost completely tattered, and his entire body was riddled with wounds. Qin Xiaobai's sword light devouring formation was too astonishing. As long as one was swept into it, it would be as if there were countless sharp blades cutting them and countless energy bombarding them. Even if Yang Dingtian had the incomparably powerful 9 Yang profound veins, he could withstand the powerful profound qi damage. However, this was a naked physical injury. It directly crushed Yang Dingtian into meat paste. No matter how strong the 9 Yang profound veins was, it was useless. Seeing that Yang Dingtian had actually broken through his sword light devouring formation, Qin Xiaobai said in disbelief, "Impossible? How could you break through my sword formation? How is this possible? Hanging a sheep's head, selling dog meat." Yang Dingtian said coldly, "Are you sure this is the Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer sword? Others might not be able to escape from the devil-devouring sword formation, but I know where the flaws are. I can easily break through the formation." That's right, in order to kill Yang Dingtian, Qin Xiaobai's third move seemed to be the Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer sword Sun and Moon Decay on the surface. In fact, he was using the devil-devouring sword formation of the evil sect. This sword formation was created by the leader of the evil ways hundreds of years ago, the master of the burial sword pool, Ouyang Yuanma. When this sword formation was activated, the sword formation could not overdraft the user's energy. It could also condense and devour the profound chi in the surroundings, making its lethality unparalleled. However, he did not expect that Qin Xiaobai actually knew the martial arts of the evil ways. Moreover, in order to kill Yang Dingtian, he actually risked exposing himself by using this devil-devouring sword formation. For hundreds of years, it was unknown how many experts of famous sects had been destroyed by this devil-devouring sword formation. Dongfang Minmi spent a lot of effort to find the flaws of this devil-devouring sword formation. In the midst of extreme danger, Yang Dingtian followed Dongfang Minmi's instructions and rushed towards the most dangerous part of the sword formation. As expected, he rushed out of the formation. Hearing the 4 words devil-devouring sword formation, Qin Xiaobai's expression changed slightly. He then sneered and said, "What devil-devouring sword formation? I don't know. This is clearly the primal chaos heaven destroyer sword sun and moon decay. If it was really some devil-devouring sword formation, how could you still be alive?" Yang Dingtian wiped the blood on his face and said while gasping for breath, "I won't argue with you. This sword formation should be your trump card. Even this can't kill me. What should you do? There are only 2 moves left. If you still can't kill me, you've lost. Is that so? Are you in such a hurry to court death?" Qin Xiaobai sneered and said, "Now, you probably only have a quarter of your life left. I still have 2 moves left. I'd like to see if I can kill you or not." Finished speaking, Qin Xiaobai's figure rushed towards Yang Dingtian like lightning. The bloody black gold sword in his hand pierced towards Yang Dingtian's head. "Let's see if you die like this." Qin Xiaobai sneered and said. Yang Dingtian possessed powerful profound veins talent and could withstand powerful profound chi damage. Then, Qin Xiaobai chose to fight in close quarters and directly use his sword to kill Yang Dingtian. "Your profound veins can withstand my profound chi, but they can't withstand my sharp sword." Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer Sword's 4th move, Star's Transformation. As his voice fell, the sword in Qin Xiaobai's hand carried a whistling roar as it quickly pierced towards Yang Dingtian's entire body. The speed was incomparably fast, and the moves were incomparably profound. There was no sword light, but profound chi was still poured into the sword, immediately causing the incomparably hard and sharp bloody black gold sword to become truly indestructible. A sword duel. I'd like to see if there's any move that can compare to the pig-slaying swordsmanship. Yang Dingtian sneered in his heart. He gritted his teeth and endured the intense pain all over his body as he raised his sword to meet the attack. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The sword in Qin Xiaobai's hand was like a poisonous snake. Every sword spat out a powerful aura. Bang bang bang. The sword aura struck the hard boulder in the plaza, leaving a deep hole. Qin Xiaobai's sword was very, very fast. It was even faster than lightning, faster than Yang Dingtian. In a second, he directly stabbed out dozens of times. Every sword carried an incomparably powerful profound chi, causing the tip of the sword to be completely indestructible. Yang Dingtian's sword speed was not as fast as Qin Xiaobai's, but he won in the profoundness of the pig-slaying swordsmanship. At this moment, when Yang Dingtian used the pig-slaying swordsmanship, there were no specific moves at all, and he would not completely follow the rigid moves in the secret manual. He, who had already used the pig-slaying swordsmanship more than 100,000 times, had completely mastered it. He had broken down the 9 moves of the pig-slaying swordsmanship into countless moves, organizing and matching them at will. Therefore, even though Qin Xiaobai's sword was very fast, Yang Dingtian was still able to block it. Suddenly, in the middle of the plaza, it was as if only the stars could be seen. Countless shadows of sword blades were modeled, extremely mysterious and dazzling. The tens of thousands of people present did not expect that they would be able to see such a mysterious sword duel in this duel. One had to know that in this world, sword techniques were definitely not mainstream. Especially for experts, it was a battle of profound chi, a battle of profound technique, and a battle of martial spirit. Therefore, in this world, the only person who could rely solely on sword techniques to become an expert was Yin Yang School's adjudicator, Shadowless. Therefore, in terms of sword techniques, this duel between Yang Dingtian and Qin Shaobai could be said to be a rare duel between experts in decades. Clang clang clang, the two of them were getting faster and faster. In almost an instant, their swords had collided hundreds of times. Every collision brought about a string of sparks. Therefore, in an instant, countless sparks bloomed, and countless cold lights flickered from the tip of the sword. And at this moment, Yang Dingtian seemed to be in the abyss of hell. He could still endure Qin Shaobai's sword that was getting faster and faster, but what he was completely unable to endure was that the profound energy in Qin Shaobai's every sword strike was getting fiercer and fiercer. Every collision was a swift and fierce destruction to his profound veins. However, he still had to forcefully withstand every terrifying impact. As long as he missed a sword, this sword would directly pierce through his head. Ding 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 ding, Qin Shaobai's sword was like a torrential storm as it rained down on Yang Dingtian. Every sword carried with it a soaring profound qi energy. In the following dozens of swords, Yang Dingtian spat out a mouthful of blood every time he received a sword. In an instant, dozens of swords were slashed, and blood spurted out like raindrops. Immediately after, Yang Dingtian's arm that was holding the sword cracked like a net, and even the skin on half of his body cracked inch by inch. In an instant, half of Yang Dingtian's body spurted out blood. He had already reached his limit. One had to know that Qin Shaobai's profound qi energy was several times more than Yang Dingtian's, or even more than 10 times. As long as he received one more sword, perhaps Yang Dingtian's body would not be able to withstand it and directly explode. Seeing that Yang Dingtian was about to die, the corner of Qin Shaobai's mouth revealed a sinister smile. Even though he was shameless, because this fourth move was really too long. But he had only used the fourth move of the Primal Chaos Heaven Exterminating Sword, Star's Transformation. The ground in the center of the plaza was almost completely dyed red by Yang Dingtian's blood. The tens of thousands of people in the plaza clearly saw that Yang Dingtian was practically a bloody man as he fought with Qin Shaobai. This duel might not be the most powerful duel they had ever seen, but it was definitely one of the bloodiest and most tragic duels. Everyone sighed in their hearts. If they were in Yang Dingtian's place, they would have been finished long ago. How would they be able to hold on until now? On the city wall, Shimen Ju looked at Yang Dingtian who was covered in blood. The corner of his mouth revealed a strange sneer, and the fist hidden in his sleeve clenched tightly. At this moment, Yang Dingtian was about to collapse and be destroyed at any moment. Because of his injuries, because of Qin Shaobai's powerful destructive power, his consciousness and willpower were getting weaker and weaker. There seemed to be a voice ringing in his mind. Quickly use the evil soul art, quickly use the soul tool ring. There is a powerful soul inside. As long as you sense it, then use soul explosion, all the problems will be solved. Qin Shaobai will leave and be instantly killed. Quickly use the evil soul art, quickly use the evil soul art. You will immediately turn defeat into victory. Not only will you save Shimen Yanyan's life, you will also gain the respect and worship of countless people. Quickly use the evil soul art. Quickly use the evil soul art. In Yang Dingtian's mind, there were constantly voices persuading Yang Dingtian to use the evil soul art. There was Shimen Yanyan's voice, Shimen Ningning's voice, and Shimen Wuya's voice. At this moment, the battle was getting more and more intense. Qin Shaobai's sword was getting more and more violent. The injuries on Yang Dingtian's body were getting more and more serious. He was vomiting more and more blood. He was getting closer and closer to destruction. Child, if you use the evil soul art, I won't blame you. Suddenly, a voice rang in Yang Dingtian's mind again. It was Dongfang Minmi's voice. It's an illusion, an illusion. I don't want to listen. Yang Dingtian roared in his mind. It's not an illusion. It's me, it's Master. Dongfang Minmi said, I won't persuade you to use the evil soul art, but if you use it now, I won't blame you, really. But my soul will be completely polluted. My path to the peak will also be completely destroyed. Yang Dingtian said. But, nothing is more important than life, right? Dongfang Minmi said. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's willpower seemed to be getting weaker and weaker. The urge and temptation to use the evil soul art to instantly kill Qin Shaobai was getting stronger and stronger. As long as he took out the soul tool ring from his spatial ring and sensed the soul inside, then released this powerful soul puppet, everything would be solved. He could instantly kill Qin Shaobai. Not only would he save his own life, but he would also save Shiman Yanyan's life. He would also be worshipped by everyone in Cloud Heaven City. Immediately, Yang Dingtian used his mind to sense the soul tool ring in his spatial ring. The ring suddenly became incomparably beautiful and incomparably tempting. Hee, the ugliness of human nature, I know it all too well. Just as Yang Dingtian was about to reach out and touch the soul tool ring, Dugu Xiao's cold laughter suddenly rang in his mind. It was filled with disdain and self-confidence as it mocked him. Wait until you're about to be killed by Qin Shaobai before you say those words. You will definitely use the evil soul art. I know the ugliness of human nature too well. Dugu Xiao's disdainful laughter rang in his mind again and again. If I use the evil soul art, not only will my soul be completely polluted, I will also completely lose in the spiritual duel with Dugu Xiao. Yang Dingtian thought to himself. Suddenly, his weak mind became strong again. Don't tell me I have to use my defeat with Dugu Xiao to exchange for my victory with Qin Shaobai. No. Master, I won't use the evil soul art. I definitely won't use the evil soul art. Tell me, if the current me doesn't use the evil soul art, how can I win? Any method, regardless of the risks, regardless of the price. Yang Dingtian asked in his mind. Dongfang Minmi was silent for a second, then said, there is a 99% chance that you will die. That is to control the sword spirit to fight. This Night Owl Greatsword's original model is Xiao Wuji's failed soul sword. There is a berserk and uncontrollable sword spirit hidden inside. Use your soul to control this sword spirit and fight with Qin Shaobai. But the result is that you will be able to kill Qin Shaobai, but your soul will be instantly turned into ashes. That is still better than now. Master, teach me to control the berserk sword spirit to fight. This is my only chance, even if it is a 90% chance of death, even if it is a 100% chance of death. Yang Dingtian said. Dongfang Minmi said, there is an even more serious consequence if you do this, and that is if you come into contact with this berserk sword spirit, then it will have a huge impact on your cultivation of the perfect sword spirit in the future. Maybe this impact will be irreversible. Now, do you still want to choose this path? If you use the evil soul art, it will be more direct and simple. Yang Dingtian took a deep breath. Controlling this berserk sword spirit to fight was almost a 90% chance of death, and even if it succeeded, it would have a huge impact on his cultivation of the sword spirit in the future. But the evil soul art was so simple that it could instantly kill Qin Shaobai. Master, I have already decided, I will not use the evil soul art. I will use my soul to summon the sword spirit in the Night Owl Greatsword and kill Qin Shaobai. Chapter 120. I want to use my soul to summon the sword spirit of the Night Owl Greatsword and kill Qin Shaobai. Yang Dingtian said resolutely. While Yang Dingtian was communicating with his master in his mind, Yang Dingtian was fighting with Qin Shaobai. Qin Shaobai had the upper hand and Yang Dingtian was in danger. His life was in danger at any moment. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's feet stopped and the sword in his hand slowed down. Qin Shaobai was overjoyed and thought, now. Yang Dingtian, it's time for you to die. Qin Shaobai let out a frenzied howl. The sword in his hand suddenly extended out a sword light that was around 15 meters long. It was thrusting towards Yang Dingtian violently. Instantly, Qin Xiaobai's eyes burst out with a bewitching and bizarre radiance. It was less than half a meter away and even a god wouldn't be able to dodge it. Yang Dingtian raised the Night Owl Greatsword and blocked the powerful sword aura. Bang! The sword aura pierced Yang Dingtian's Night Owl Greatsword and Yang Dingtian's body flew dozens of meters away. Immediately after, Qin Xiaobai let out a sinister smile as the sharp sword in his hand suddenly slashed horizontally towards Yang Dingtian's chest. Primal Chaos Exterminating Sword Technique's fifth move, Destruction of Heaven and Earth. Die, die! Qin Xiaobai roared. Then, the sword aura in Qin Xiaobai's hand expanded to 15 meters. This was the power of a 4-star mystic martial master. That's right, this was Qin Xiaobai's strongest power, a 4-star mystic martial master. Qin Xiaobai was actually a 4-star mystic martial master. He claimed to be a 9-star mystic martial master, but in reality, he was a 4-star mystic martial master. He hid 5 levels. His actual strength was several times greater than what he claimed. Shiman Lai and Madame Shiman both knew that Yang Dingtian must have broken through to the mystic martial master level, but they didn't expect him to be a 4-star mystic martial master. He was 1 stage and 11 levels higher than Yang Dingtian. At the last moment, Qin Xiaobai used all of his strength to the limit. After Yang Dingtian's body was slashed into the air, Qin Xiaobai used the 5th move of the Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer Sword, Destruction of Heaven and Earth. Suddenly, a huge sword light appeared, as if it was going to pierce through the sky. Kill, kill, kill! Qin Xiaobai roared ferociously. He aimed at Yang Dingtian, who was floating in the air, and fiercely slashed out his final sword strike. At this moment, the light in Qin Xiaobai's eyes became even more demonic. Boom! There was a loud noise. The sword light pierced through Yang Dingtian's body and slashed into the hard ground of the square. It was as if he had been struck by lightning, leaving behind a deep scorched mark that was 3 to 4 feet deep and 4 to 5 feet long. Yang Dingtian, who was bleeding profusely, was sent flying dozens of meters away. He crashed into the hard ground of the square, creating a deep crater. His entire body was stuck in it. No one had expected that the final outcome would be so tragic. There were many people on the square who were hostile to Yang Dingtian. They should have been happy that Yang Dingtian's final outcome was so tragic. However, none of them laughed out loud. Shiman Yanyan's originally incomparably beautiful eyes had completely lost focus and were in a mess. At this moment, she walked out in a daze. There were still bloodstains on her chest. She walked out step by step and muttered to herself, "Husband, I'll accompany you, I'll accompany you." She wanted to walk to the top of the city wall and then jump down. As for Shiman Ningning, her entire body was green. She had already fainted in her seat. Madame Shiman's entire body was trembling. She gritted her teeth and said, "I hate myself, I hate myself." Shiman Lai's eyes were bloodshot as he stared at the arrogant Qin Xiaobai. He said coldly, "Yang Dingtian, you can die in peace. I will avenge you. Within 10 days, I will cut off Qin Xiaobai's head, no matter what the consequences are." Qin Xiaobai withdrew the sinister smile on his face and slowly walked towards Yang Dingtian. He spoke in a cold voice, "I have already said that I will take your life within 5 moves. It is like slaughtering a pig or a dog. Not a single move more or less." Then, Qin Xiaobai turned to look at the top of the city wall and said, "In this duel, Yang Dingtian was defeated and died. Shiman Yanyan has been convicted of murder. Her crime is increased." Immediately, Yang Yan took a few steps forward and was about to announce the result of the duel. Qin Xiaobai walked in front of Yang Dingtian and squatted down. He said in a low voice, "Yang Dingtian, you are right. I did do that kind of shameful thing. And I did kill Tang Xen. That silly woman saw something she shouldn't have seen. Do you know what I did? I begged her first, and then I used sorcery to humiliate her. She swore on her parents that she would never tell anyone and asked me not to kill her. I agreed, but I killed her as soon as I turned around and pushed the blame onto Shimen Yanyan. Qin Shaobai paused for a moment and said, "Don't worry, I will absolutely not kill Shimen Yanyan or Yang Peipei. Both of them just lost their husbands. One is in the prime of her life, and the other is beautiful and mature. I can't bear to kill them." In the end, Qin Shaobai said in Yang Dingtian's ear, "All right, I've told you everything. You should be able to rest in peace. Don't worry, I'll take good care of your Shimen Yanyan, your Shimen Ningning, and your Madam Shimen." After he finished speaking, Qin Shaobai stood up and said to Yang Yan, "Grand Elder, you can announce the result directly." Yang Yan looked at the 10,000 plus people in the square and said in a clear voice, "I announce that Yang Dingtian has lost this duel." Yang Yan hadn't finished speaking when there was an uproar in the square, and everyone's gazes shot towards Qin Shaobai's back. Qin Shaobai felt some voices behind him, and he couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. He felt a chill run down his spine, and then he turned around. "Impossible, absolutely impossible," Qin Shaobai muttered to himself. His entire body seemed to have rusted as he turned around bit by bit. Then, he suddenly cried out in surprise. His entire face revealed a horrified expression, as if he had seen a ghost. Because Yang Dingtian, who everyone thought was dead, actually sat up from the pit at this moment. Then, leaning on the Nightbird greatsword, he slowly stood up and walked out. Yang Dingtian raised his greatsword and pointed it at Qin Shaobai. "You didn't kill me after 5 moves, so it should be considered your loss. But this is too unfair, so I'll give you the chance to make a 6th move." Qin Shaobai's 5th move naturally didn't kill Yang Dingtian, because at that time, Yang Dingtian had already completely merged with the brutal sword spirit. With Qin Shaobai's strength, he was already unable to harm him in the slightest. At this moment, Yang Dingtian's eyes were scarlet red, completely filled with blood, and filled with anger and sorrow. That's right, at this moment, he had already controlled the violent sword spirit in the Nightbird greatsword to fight. But the price was that he could no longer sense the existence of his master, Dongfang Minmi. Even though a large portion of this brutal sword spirit had been destroyed in the Battle of the Nightbird, the small portion that remained was still incomparably powerful and incomparably violent. Yang Dingtian would rather die than use the evil soul art, and he was also unwilling to use the evil soul tool ring, so he chose to control this brutal sword spirit to counterattack against the heavens. But only the sword spirit that he had refined step by step could be connected to his master's mind and fight side by side. Even Zhao Wuji couldn't control the violent sword spirit in this sword. Perhaps it was because Yang Dingtian's body had the brutal sword spirit and the Nightbird's energy aura, or perhaps it was because this violent sword spirit was suppressed by the Nightbird, but in short, Yang Dingtian actually succeeded in controlling this sword spirit by a large portion. Of course, it was only a large portion. At the final moment, this sword spirit violently counterattacked, instantly wanting to tear Yang Dingtian's soul to shreds. It was at this moment that Dongfang Minmi's soul appeared, suddenly suppressing the last bit of the violent sword spirit that rebelled. But after all, Dongfang Minmi was only a remnant soul. After suppressing the rebellious sword spirit, he couldn't sense his master, Dongfang Minmi. Immediately, Yang Dingtian tasted the taste of regret once again. If he hadn't been stubborn, if he had used the evil soul art, this wouldn't have been the result. But there was no such thing as if. At this moment, Yang Dingtian had already successfully blended in with this berserk sword soul. Endless fury and berserk rage were about to pour out. "I'll give you a chance for the 6th move, quickly." Yang Dingtian suddenly roared, as if thunder had resounded from the horizon. The anger in his heart was about to explode his body. Qin Shaobai's body shook, then he laughed sinisterly. "Is this the final radiance of the setting sun? Since you're not completely dead, then I'll completely tear you into pieces." With that, Qin Shaobai wiped his palm on the bloody black gold sword, and a blood mist immediately sprayed out, staining the blade. The originally red sword now looked black and vermilion after being stained with blood. Boom! Immediately after, the bloody black gold sword, along with Qin Shaobai's body, suddenly burned fiercely. The sixth move of the Primal Chaos Exterminating Sword, Primal Chaos Exterminating the Heavens. Suddenly, Qin Shaobai's surroundings suddenly darkened, as if all the light had condensed on the sword. The entire bloody black gold sword and his body seemed to have merged into one, completely transforming into an 8-foot-long giant sword, a ferocious burning giant sword. Swoosh! Qin Shaobai's man and sword became one, and a sword light of over 100 feet suddenly burst out. The purple sword light's brilliance shot out over 100 feet, as if it was going to pierce the entire sky. This was the last sword of the Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer sword, and it was also the sword that made people tremble in fear. This sword almost instantly overdrew all of the swordsman's cultivation, causing the lethality to skyrocket by several times. Therefore, although the Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer sword was only an 8th grade martial skill, it was also one of the most tyrannical martial skills. No one was willing to provoke an expert who used the Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer sword, because once he went crazy and risked his life, even an opponent 2 or 3 times stronger than him could die under his sword. Now, Qin Shaobai actually overdrew all of the profound qi in his body and used the incomparably tyrannical 6th sword, Primal Chaos Heaven Destroyer sword. Die, die, die. Qin Shaobai roared, and the incomparably huge sword light in his hand slashed down fiercely at Yang Dingtian's head. Die! Shimen Ju, who was watching the battle on the city wall, suddenly punched out, and a bright red light shot out from his palm. Immediately, the sky above the plaza changed color, and the ground trembled. Everyone held their breaths, waiting to see Yang Dingtian being dismembered into 1,000 pieces, turned into ashes, and turned into ashes. Ah! Yang Dingtian roared furiously, grabbed the Night Owl greatsword in his hand, and suddenly slashed upwards. Roar! The sky darkened, as if a dragon and tiger were roaring, and also as if a devil was howling. Instantly, for some unknown reason, the flames on Qin Shaobai's body suddenly dimmed. Then, a ferocious and malevolent light suddenly rushed out from Yang Dingtian's Night Owl greatsword. Blood red, pitch black, pitch black. 2 lumps of light, like 2 prehistoric giant beasts, suddenly surged out and collided with Qin Shaobai's huge sword light. Boom! An incomparably violent explosion burst out with dazzling light, causing the 2 suns in the sky to lose their color. With Qin Shaobai and Yang Dingtian as the center of the plaza, countless boulders tumbled and shattered. The plaza of hundreds of meters was shattered, leaving behind a deep and huge crater. Puff! After the light and shadow destroyed Qin Shaobai's sword light, the remaining sword spirit's afterimage slammed into Qin Shaobai's body. Don't! Yang Yen screamed. Bang! Qin Shaobai's body, like a straw, was suddenly sent flying into the air, blood spurting wildly. Now, you can go to hell. Yang Dingtian roared and suddenly jumped into the air, the Night Owl greatsword in his hand surged with light, turning into a red sword light, aiming at Qin Shaobai who was floating in the air, and slashed down. Pig-slaying swordsmanship's first move, piercing the throat and letting out blood. Pig-slaying swordsmanship's second move, cutting open the stomach. Pig-slaying swordsmanship's fourth move, digging out the heart and lungs. One sword after another, one sword after another. Countless sword lights, blood-red sword lights, crazily slashed at Qin Shaobai in the air, and the sword did not stop. Qin Shaobai's body floated in the air, unable to fall. One sword after another, the sword lights crazily slashed on his body. With each sword strike, blood spurted wildly. With each sword strike, his body trembled violently, and the sound of bones breaking rang out. Kill, 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 kill. Note, second update. Brothers, I'm begging for 2 monthly votes for pastries. Please, everyone. Chapter 121. Kill, kill, kill. Everyone was stunned by this scene, and no one had time to react. Why was it like this? Qin Xiaobai, who had the upper hand and beaten Yang Dingtian to the point that he couldn't fight back, was actually being slaughtered crazily in the air. His clothes were already torn, and his entire body was completely naked. His body was badly mutilated, and blood was gushing out crazily. He was 10 times more miserable than Yang Dingtian. At this moment, Qin Xiaobai was hit by Yang Dingtian's brutal sword spirit. His tendons and meridians were all destroyed, and his body was almost destroyed. Of course, he didn't have the slightest ability to fight back, and allowed Yang Dingtian to slaughter him. Ah! Ah! At this moment, a mournful scream suddenly came from the high platform, and then a beautiful young woman rushed out. It was Yang Shishir, Qin Xiaobai's biological mother. Previously, she had been hiding in the crowd and watching her son kill Yang Dingtian. Later on, when the situation suddenly changed and when Yang Dingtian was torturing Qin Xiaobai to death, her entire brain felt as though it had been struck by lightning as she instantly lost all her consciousness. She only woke up abruptly when her son was about to be killed. Bang! Qin Xiaobai's body fiercely smashed onto the ground like a pile of mud. He didn't move, and didn't make a sound. Yang Dingtian suddenly landed, and directly stepped on Qin Xiaobai's head, and said coldly, "You shameless beast, you were caught by Tang Xian doing something shameful. You killed Tang Xian and framed Yan Yan. You even created unbearable rumors about Madame Shiman and tarnished Madame's reputation. You deserve to die, you deserve to die." Then, he aimed at Qin Xiaobai's body and fiercely slashed. Under his sharp sword, Qin Xiaobai directly became a eunuch. "Don't!" Yang Shishir suddenly screamed. "Pig-slaying swordsmanship, chop off the limbs and chop off the head." Yang Dingtian raised his huge sword, and fiercely wanted to chop off Qin Xiaobai's head and limbs. At this moment, Yang Dingtian's eyes were still scarlet red, and his face was ice-cold and bloodthirsty, as if he was possessed by the devil. Don't. Have mercy, have mercy." Yang Shishir sobbed. "Yang Dingtian, listen to me. Just one sentence." Yang Dingtian coldly looked up at Yang Shishir and said, "Speak. I don't know if Xiaobai is dead or alive, but as long as you don't slash down, I won't care about what you've done to Xiaobai. The Northwest Qin family won't take revenge. Otherwise, even if we have to go to the ends of the earth, the Northwest Qin family will tear you to pieces," Yang Shishir said. "I will not be threatened." Yang Dingtian's giant sword slashed down. He couldn't sense Dongfang Minmi's presence. His rage soared to the heavens, and he only wanted to tear Qin Xiaobai to shreds. In order to kill Qin Xiaobai, he had no choice but to summon the brutal sword spirit of the Night Owl Greatsword to fight. In the end, in order to suppress the sword spirit's backlash, his master's divine sense was shattered. How could Yang Dingtian not be furious? Wait. I'll let the Northwest Qin family fully support you as Cloud Heaven City's lord, as long as you don't slash down." Yang Shishir cried out. She loved her son to the bone, or else she wouldn't have said such a condition. "I'll take what I want myself. I don't need others to give it to me," Yang Dingtian said generously. "Shiman Yan Yan is innocent. I'll immediately return her to you." "I'll immediately return her to you," Yang Shishir said anxiously. "I won the duel, so Shiman Yan Yan is innocent. Are you done? If you're done, I'll tear Qin Xiaobai to pieces." Yang Dingtian said coldly. After he finished speaking, he directly slashed at Qin Xiaobai's neck. "Silly child, wake up." Suddenly, Dongfang Minmi's weak voice sounded in his mind. Yang Dingtian's body shook and his eyes regained their clarity. He was overjoyed. Seeing that his sword was about to cut off Qin Xiaobai's head, he quickly turned his wrist. Pa! The huge sword fiercely slashed at the hard plaza, leaving a deep crack. "Master, are you all right?" Yang Dingtian was overjoyed. "I don't know, but I'll definitely be away from you for a while. Just now, I controlled that brutal sword spirit and caused my divine sense to completely shatter in your mind. I want to reform my scattered soul. If I can reform it, then I can accompany you for a while. If I can't, then I'll leave you forever. Dongfang Minmi said weakly, so, when I'm not here, you can only rely on yourself. Master, you'll definitely come back. I believe it. Yang Dingtian said loudly in his mind, also, no matter where I go, I'll find a way to revive you in another way. And Martial Uncle Shiman, I must find a way to bring him back to life. This is my mission, my greatest mission in this world. Silly child, you're still so stubborn. Dongfang Minmi said, today, at the most dangerous moment, even if your soul was destroyed by the sword spirit, you didn't want to use the evil soul art. You didn't want to compromise like Dugu Xiao, that great devil. I'm very proud, I'm very gratified. Yang Dingtian said, but if I knew beforehand that the price would be you leaving me, then I might have already regretted it. Don't regret it, you did the right thing. Dongfang Minmi said, I'm going to leave immediately. When I'll wake up, I don't know if I can wake up. But in the end, I have 2 words to tell you. Listen carefully. Yes, Master, I'll definitely do it. Yang Dingtian said. First, from today onwards, from now on, from this moment onwards, don't use the Night Owl huge sword. I know it's very powerful, very sharp, and once you successfully use the sword spirit inside, you can even kill experts 20 levels higher than you. But promise me, from today onwards, don't use this sword again. Otherwise, you won't be able to cultivate a real sword spirit for your entire life. Your cultivation will also stop here. A real sword spirit should be 1,000 or 10,000 times stronger than this. Sell this sword, throw it into the lava, in short, don't use it again. Don't even touch it, even if you don't have a sword to use because of this. Dongfang Minmi said solemnly. Yes, Master, from now onwards, I won't use this sword spirit again. I won't touch it again. Yang Dingtian said. Swear. Dongfang Minmi said. I swear, I won't use the sword spirit inside this sword again. Yang Dingtian said. That's right. If you use it again, it will really destroy your perfect sword spirit cultivation path. After this matter, immediately go to the southwest continent to find the fire immunity chilling pearl, then go to the fire cloud devil cave to find the highest quality earth fire to refine your fledgling sword. Start refining the soul sword that truly belongs to you. This is the most important thing for you. Dongfang Minmi said. His voice was getting softer and softer, weaker and weaker. Yes, Master, after this matter, I'll immediately go to the southwest continent to find the fire immunity chilling pearl. Yang Dingtian said, you should quickly rest and quickly condense the broken soul. Then goodbye, child. When I'm not here, you'll have to rely on yourself. As for Qin Xiaobai. Dongfang Minmi's voice got softer and softer until it was completely inaudible. It completely disappeared in Yang Dingtian's mind. He didn't even finish his words about Qin Xiaobai. Yang Dingtian's heart was filled with reluctance and sorrow, but he firmly believed that his master would definitely come back. His master's voice would definitely resound in his mind again. At this moment, Yang Dingtian's rage and fury gradually calmed down because of Dongfang Minmi's words. At this moment, everyone's eyes were fixed on Yang Dingtian, waiting to see if he would cut down the sword. He was the victor of the trial by duel, so he had the right to cut off the head of the loser. Taking a deep breath, he looked at Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian said, Madam Qin, I cannot cut down this sword. I can even return Qin Xiaobai to you, but you have to promise me one thing. Say it, say it. No matter what it is, I'll agree. Yang Shishir said, even if you want me to jump down from here. Instantly, everyone looked at Yang Dingtian, not knowing what he was going to say. Yang Yan and the others were filled with wariness and hostility. Yang Dingtian, my condition is very simple. Return Shiman Yanyan's and Madame Shiman's innocence. At this moment, Yan Yan had just woken up. When he heard Yang Dingtian's words, Tears welled up in his eyes, and he felt as if the softest part of his heart had been struck. Let me ask you, did Shimin Yan Yan kill Tang Xan? Yang Dingtian asked. No, Tang Xan wasn't killed by Yan Yan, Yang Shishir replied. Yang Dingtian, then, who killed Tang Xan? Yes, yes. A trace of determination flashed through Yang Shishir's beautiful eyes. I killed Yang Shishir. She saw something she shouldn't have seen, so after I killed her, I framed Shimin Yan Yan. Instantly, everyone was in an uproar. Yang Dingtian was stunned. Tang Xian was clearly killed by Qin Shaobai, but Yang Shishir said she killed her. Was this love as deep as the sea? Then, Yang Dingtian, then who spread the rumors about Madame Shimin? Yang Shishir, it was also me. In order to destroy your morale and let Shaobai become the lord of Cloud Sky City, I tried my best to smear your innocence. Instantly, everyone let out a cry of surprise and looked at Yang Shishir in disbelief. Yang Yan and the others' faces were ashen, and they were so angry that their bodies were trembling. No matter what, they never thought that it would end like this. All of them thought that there was only one result, which was that Qin Shaobai killed Yang Dingtian instantly, Madame Shimin would be burdened with a lifetime of scandals, and Shimin Lai and the others would be expelled from Cloud Sky City. The Yang family used Qin Shaobai to completely control Cloud Sky City. They guessed the first half of it right, but they didn't expect the situation to change so drastically. Not only did Yang Dingtian not die, but he suddenly displayed his invincible might and directly killed Qin Shaobai. And in order to save Qin Shaobai's life, Yang Shishir actually admitted to all the crimes. This way, Qin Shaobai's reputation would be completely notorious. And Yang Dingtian and Madame Shimin would also be restored to their innocence. Yan Yan would also be completely innocent. This ending was even better than the best situation that Yang Dingtian had imagined. Yang Dingtian turned around and shouted at the high platform, Great Elder Yang Yan, you should have heard it. Tang Xian was not killed by Shimin Yan Yan. Shimin Yan Yan is not guilty. Let her go. Yang Yan's expression suddenly changed, and the muscles on his face trembled. With a wave of his hand, Shimin Yan unwillingly put down the blade from Yan Yan's neck. Shimin Ju stepped forward and lightly waved his hand, taking away the red crystal and releasing Yan Yan's mystic qi restriction. After Yan Yan recovered her mystic qi, she directly jumped down from the city wall. After landing, she quickly rushed towards Yang Dingtian. Under the gazes of tens of thousands of people, she rushed into Yang Dingtian's embrace like a ball of flame. Hubby, these past few days, I've been thinking about you all the time. I've been thinking about your voice, your embrace, and your bad hands. Yan Yan said softly while crying. Yang Dingtian hugged Yan Yan tightly, greedily smelling her scent. Stop smelling it. These past few days, I've only bathed once. Yan Yan said tenderly. I like this smell. Yang Dingtian smiled, then patted her back and said, Go back to Big Brother Shimin Lai first. Mother-in-law's situation isn't too good, and Sister Ningning seems to be unconscious. Go take care of them. All right. Yan Yan said softly and reluctantly left Yang Dingtian's embrace. Her beautiful eyes blossomed with boundless tenderness as she said, Hubby, tonight, I'll tell you everything that happened 5 years ago. After that, Yan Yan will completely bid farewell to the past and become a weak little woman. I'll become a little wife who will only do your laundry and cook for you. All right? All right. Yang Dingtian said softly. During the entire process, the tens of thousands of people in the plaza were silent as they watched Yang Dingtian and Shimin Yan Yan put on a loving show. Some people's eyes were filled with blessings, some were filled with envy, and some were filled with jealousy. Shimin Yan Yan, a pair of peerless geniuses, the #1 beauty in the Northwest, and the princess of Cloud Heaven City. To be able to obtain her body and mind was the dream of every man. Turning back 3 times with every step, Yan Yan left Yang Dingtian's embrace and came to Madame Shimin's side. Madame Qin, please come and carry your son away. Yang Dingtian said. Yang Shishir directly jumped down from the city wall and ran to Yang Dingtian. Her graceful and moving body bowed first as she said, then, she squatted down and trembled as she carried the badly mutilated Qin Xiaobai. Xiaobai, Xiaobai. Yang Shishir directly buried her charming face into her son's blood-stained chest and cried out in pain. Even though Qin Xiaobai deserved it, Yang Dingtian still didn't know how to face this scene. He nodded at Yang Shishir and turned to walk towards the Black Blood Cavalry's formation. Long live City Lord Yang Dingtian, long live City Lord Yang Dingtian. Suddenly, the Black Blood Cavalry brothers in the camp shouted out. At the start, it was only a few hundred people shouting, but it was quickly followed by a few thousand people shouting together. Obviously, Yang Dingtian's great victory boosted their morale. They actually shouted, City Lord Yang Dingtian, in advance. After the Black Blood Cavalry finished shouting, the other warriors of Cloud Sky City actually followed suit. Instantly, the entire square was filled with cheers. Qin Xiaobai created rumors to destroy Yang Dingtian's reputation. Many of the Cloud Sky City disciples didn't believe it. They firmly believed that Yang Dingtian relied on his own talent to increase his cultivation by leaps and bounds. They were incomparably looking forward to Yang Dingtian once again displaying his invincible prowess and slapping the rumor monger in the face. Now, Yang Dingtian did it. Not only did he once again prove his talent and strength, he also slapped Yang Yan and the others hard in the face. He completely destroyed the Northwest Qin families and Yang Yan's conspiracy to overthrow Cloud Sky City. Yang Dingtian didn't disappoint his supporters and didn't betray their trust. When Yang Yan and the others saw this scene from the top of the city wall, their expressions changed drastically. For this duel, he had gathered almost all the Cloud Sky City disciples and all the important figures of Cloud Sky City's forces. It was to let everyone see Qin Xiaobai display his invincible prowess. It was to let everyone see Yang Dingtian's defeat and death. It was to let those who supported Yang Dingtian lose all hope and give up hope. However, they never thought that this move would once again benefit Yang Dingtian. Of course, they never thought that Qin Xiaobai would lose this duel. No matter how they looked at it, Qin Xiaobai wouldn't lose. Yang Dingtian would definitely die. Who knew that Qin Xiaobai would lose? Next, they would have to face the thunderous wrath of the Northwest Qin family's lord. The Northwest Qin family's third young master, the genius of the Northwest continent, had actually been destroyed in Cloud Sky City by Yang Dingtian's hands. This meant that he was indirectly destroyed by Yang Yan and the others. Yang Yan had the intention to stop all of this, but he couldn't do anything at this moment. He couldn't possibly turn hostile in front of everyone and kill Yang Dingtian in anger, right? Suddenly, Yang Yan couldn't help but look at Shimanju. This was an instinct because Shimanju was the most scheming person in Cloud Sky City. Shimanju looked at the cheering crowd. Over 10,000 people were shouting, "Long live Yang Dingtian," and his face instantly turned gloomy. Under everyone's gazes, Yang Dingtian walked back to the Black Blood Cavalry's camp step by step. Shimanju's eyes flashed as he looked at Yang Dingtian's back view and coldly shouted, "Wait." Note, you're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.